Seminole baseball has been perfect on the field this season. But to stay unbeaten and win their first state title, the Warhawks need one more victory. Standing in Seminole's flight pattern is St. Thomas Aquinas. The Raiders are just 6 years removed from a state championship, and tonight, St. Thomas plans to raid on the Hawks Parade. It's high school baseball. Two national powers, the Class 5A Florida State Championship, next.
From Legends Field in Tampa, Time Warner Communication Sports presents the Class 5A State High School Baseball Tournament. As the #1 ranked team in the nation, the Seminole Warhawks get set to take on Fort Lauderdale St. Thomas Aquinas. Hello again, everyone. Brian Ux here alongside Eric Keaton, welcoming you to Legends Field in Tampa for the 5A State Baseball Tournament. Eric, two of the better high school baseball teams in the country. The Warhawks ranked #1 in 2 polls in the nation, and St. Thomas Aquinas ranked 8th in the nation.
Well, actually, Brian, the Class 5A has been the best tournament of 4 teams here all week. 3 of the 4 were ranked nationally. We're down to the final 2 tonight.
Scott Miller brings Seminole in with a 20-10 record. However, they are undefeated this year on the field.
Had 10 forfeits due to an ineligible player, but as you can see, they have really just tore it up through regional play. In fact, this is the first time they've been in the championship game. Before this season, Seminole had never made it past round #1.
Robert Lawson brings St. Thomas Aquinas in with an outstanding 30-4 record. They have a great tradition.
Well, I tell you, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, and now baseball, St. Thomas Aquinas always fields the best teams in the state of Florida.
We'll see whether the Seminole Warhawks can win their first ever state baseball championship. We'll have the first pitch for you next, right here.
You gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat. Say, who do you think you are? You won't get far unless you eat.
You gotta eat a Checkers Spicy Chicken Sandwich, now just 99 cents. It's all white meat and it's spiced just right. Served hot and fresh with crisp lettuce and mayo.
In between, without a doubt, we'll give you something really, really good. That's
Checkers Spicy Chicken Sandwich, now just 99 cents.
You gotta eat.
Brian Uggs, Eric Keaton back with you here at Legends Field in Tampa. The 5A State Baseball Championship. St. Thomas Aquinas taking the field. The Seminole Warhawks will be the visiting team and bat first here in the top half of the first inning. Beautiful day here at Legends Field in Tampa. The 5A State Baseball Championship. Pitcher is Jay Lawrence with an 8-1 record, a 2.94 ERA, 50 innings pitched. He's allowed 44 hits. He's only walked 16 and he struck out 71.
Now your 3-pitch guy on the hill. Throw the fastball in the upper 80s, has the changeup in the 70s. And the defense behind him, Robert Rivera in left field, Richard Giannotti in center, Chris Munn, the right fielder, around the horn from third base. Jimmy Bacon had an outstanding game against Lakeland. Tyler Green is the shortstop. Mike Pellerito at second base, Joe Zanurko at first, and Louis Palmisano is behind the plate. And Louis was telling me that occasionally Jay Lawrence will drop the sinker ball in there, the splitter, excuse me.
Danielle Williams will be the leadoff hitter for the Seminole Warhawks. Outstanding 2-sport athlete, great football players. Gave up soccer, I think, this year, Eric, and he was a great soccer player. He'll be followed by John Skorupski, Casey Kochman, Bobby Wilson, Earl Blummer, John Killalay, Phil Stillwell, Ryan Dixon, and John Riggleman, the batting order for the Seminole Warhawks. Williams coming into the Final Four, hitting .341, 1 homer, 14 RBI, and 26 runs scored. He's kind of the catalyst. He's the one guy that runs the bases. A couple of guys run the base as well, but at the leadoff position, he is a key hitter for them. First pitch from Lawrence, in there for a called strike.
Well, Lawson, as I was mentioning earlier, will try to get ahead with the fastball, can drop in the curveball, likes to hold back that splitter as a surprise pitch. That according to his catcher.
He's ahead 0-2.
Williams in the semifinals would fall behind early, and that curveball seemed to be his weakness.
The open stance down, 0-2. That one a waste pitch up in the away. It's now 1-2. to Donyell Williams. Jay Lawrence, the right-hander, again the 2.94 ERA, 71 strikeouts in 50 innings, and he only walked 16. Outstanding control. Breaking ball, he fights it off, but just punches an easy shot right back to the pitcher Lawrence, who puts it away for out number 1.
Williams has been struggling at the plate, now 0 for his last 7. And talking to Coach Miller before the game, he said despite that Williams has still been able to get on base along with this next hitter, John Skorupski. An easy play for Lawrence on the hill.
Skorupski, number 22, the left fielder, comes in to the state Final Four hitting .358 with a couple of homers, 20 RBI, and 30 runs scored. He also has a little bit of the open stance, as did Donyell Williams, facing the right-hander Lawrence. Swings and fouls it off at the plate. It's 0-1 to John Skorupski.
Chasing that pitch out of the zone, trying to jump on a fastball here to get something started for Seminole. Talked to Coach Miller about his lineup. Of course, all season long with this team being so highly profiled, they don't have a weak spot in the lineup. Facing basically the number 2 pitcher for St. Thomas Aquinas. They threw their number 1 yesterday in Christopher Niesel.
Breaking ball is on the outside part of the plate. 0-2 to Skorupski. So far, Lawrence early in the game staying ahead of the hitters. First 2 hitters he's had in the hole at 0-2.
Make the batter hit your pitch. Now he can waste a couple.
Another breaking ball just wide. It's 1-2 to Skorupski.
Skorupski struggling at the plate his last 2 games against Countryside and the other night against Gonzales Tate. 0 for his last 7, but as Miller had pointed out, he's still getting on base, has 3 runs scored.
The 1-2 to Skorupski. Down the third base line, just foul. It'll remain 1-2 to John Skorupski. And how these teams got here: Seminole beat Gulf in the tournament 11-1. They beat Punta Gorda Charlotte 8-3. Countryside 13-3. And yesterday Gonzales Tate had them down 2-1 after 4, but they came back to win at 7-2. Aquinas beat Miramar 13-0. Fort Myers Cypress Lake 4-3. Davie Nova 2-0. And Lakeland yesterday in a thriller 2-1. Top teams in the nation: Aquinas number 8, and Seminole number 1 on a couple of different polls.
Coach Miller looking for Skorupski to get on so he can set the table with Kochman batting in the 3rd spot.
That fastball is wide. Count evens at 2-2 to John Skorupski. Of course, Coach Miller told us before the game they've seen a lot of left-handers as of late, Eric, and he thought maybe the right-hander would be.
19 left-handers out of 30 games this season.
Be a little better for his lineup to face. And this guy Lawrence, a little deceiving, kind of hides the ball. Good breaking ball. The 2-2. Breaking ball, sky to deep left field. Going over is Robert Rivera, and he will collide with the center fielder. I think made the grab. That's Richard Giannotti. Not good communications here. That should have been.
Skorupski still rounding the bases. They've yet to have a signal that says the runner is out. He rounded the bases, and now
a late call from Joe Seneca, the third base umpire, which is good umpiring. He went out to make sure he had the ball, but the player is down. Giannotti, who came over and covered a lot of ground, but it looked like Rivera's ball from the get-go.
Rivera looked like he had a bead on it. This ball was hit fairly high, not that deep. It may be deep, of course, to some of these high school kids. They're not used to playing out there in Death Valley, about 390 feet. Of course, out here and up here in the booth, you cannot tell who's calling for it. Me, being a former center fielder, that's the center fielder's ball. If he at once said, "I've got it," the left fielder's got to back off.
Yeah, on that replay, he did have a beat on the ball, did Richard Giannotti, and not good communications there. He talked to Coach Lawson before the game, and Chris Hill and his assistants, and they are a good fundamental team. You see the legs getting tangled up, and Giannotti apparently the one who came up the worst in that exchange. The center fielder, he's a key player for them.
Picked up one of the few hits yesterday against the Lakeland Dreadnoughts.
It's hitting .409, batting in the number 5 hole. Hopefully he will be okay and able to continue. Do have substitution rules in high school baseball. They can substitute for somebody and bring them in one time. Home plate umpire is Mark Howes. The first place umpire is K.D. Wright. And your third base umpire is John Seminole. Seminole, the man running out there, and there's your head coach, Robert Lawson.
Coach Lawson, in his first season, has really guided this team to 30-4, and finally you can hear the crowd behind him coming to their feet as Giannotti is now on his feet, still out in left center field, gathered with about 10 of his teammates, and they're going to have to help him off. He's going to come out of the ball game.
And that's a shame. He's really dragging that right leg.
Not sure if it was a knee or the shin. Now they have to carry him off.
Just take one more look. And the right leg just got tied up there, and
looked like his teammate hit the front part of his shin on the right leg, and his right leg stayed planted in the turf. Might have hyperextended his knee, but it stayed on the ground while his body and the momentum kept going forward.
Looks like Jimmy Bacon. Well, Jimmy Bacon's playing third base. Let's see who goes into the center field here. Not sure what they're going to do. They're going to be talking it over. And nice round of applause for Richard Giannotti, but he's a disappointed young man, and making the second put out here in the first inning. Comes off the field injured after a collision with his teammate Robert Rivera in left center field. And number 9 now coming out of the dugout, Jared Labasco. He's going to go to left field.
Well, Richard Giannotti, an outstanding student as well as the majority of the team, St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. He's a member of the National Honor Society.
Let's see if they move Rivera over to center.
Well, we've played a couple outs, Brian, and we've already had an unfortunate incident. Don't know how much it will change the way Coach Lawson for St. Thomas Aquinas is going to play this game. I would think outfield-wise, losing his starter. He has another quality starter in Labasco that he was going to put in left field.
Like
So I would
Rivera.
think defensively he wouldn't lose that much, but offensive-wise, Giannotti hitting .409 with 4 homers and 22 RBIs.
So Rivera, Eric, has gone over to center field.
And this is just something that Coach Lawson's team will have to overcome. You know, that's what he told us before the game and told us at the end of the Lakeland contest that his team has done all season long. Somebody has stepped up to the plate. I mean, when they need the 3-run homer, they can get it. When they need to manufacture some runs, they can get that as well. And they'll be against heavy hitters tonight as Kochman steps in.
Casey Kochman, outstanding prospect, one of the top high school baseball prospects in the country. I think 406 coming into the tournament. 5 homers, 23 RBIs, 35 runs scored. He's ahead in the count at 2-0. So Chris Munn, the right fielder, went to center. The left fielder, Robert Rivera, went to right, and Jared Labasco comes into the game in the left field. He will apparently hit in Giannotti's spot. Big swing and miss, an off-speed breaking ball. It's 2-1 now to Casey Kochman, way out in front of that one.
Kochman will let him rip on 2-0. Watching this team throughout the season, every pitcher faced with a tough duty in getting Kochman out. A disciplined hitter, hits well with 2 strikes.
Another breaking ball, pops it up on the left side. Jared Labasco over near the line, puts it away for out number 3 in the first inning. 3 up and 3 down for the Seminole Warhawks in the top of the first. Into the bottom half of the inning, Aquinas coming to bat.
Hey, everybody get in there! Everybody get in there!
Most burger places are perfectly shaped burgers. Not us. I mean, what's more important? Better geometry or better taste? Go.
cottage cheese, french fries, coleslaw soup, baked beans, chili salad.
Okay.
Dallas, Illick, Snape, Deco, Pass, Wasilok, Surfignerf, Isik, Eagleduck.
Wow, she really does know her platter choices forward and backwards.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Back at Legends Field in Tampa, Brian Ungst, Eric Keaton back with you. St. Thomas Aquinas will be coming to bat here in the bottom half of a scoreless first inning. John Killalay, the senior left-hander, 10-0. 1.17 ERA, 54 innings pitched. He's allowed 30 hits, 31 walks, and struck out 67.
Brian, I can remember when we watched John Killalay play basketball. Of course, he's put on some muscle since then. His father used to coach the Seminole Warhawk basketball program, and since then, with his father retiring, John totally focused on baseball and will be playing next season at Florida Atlantic, depending on where he goes in the Major League Baseball draft here in a couple of weeks.
The defensive unit behind him.
John Skorupski in left field. Danielle Williams, we call him Game Time in center field. We like to call him Game Time here in Time Warner. We'll explain that in a little bit. John Killalay is not in right field. It is Damon Lister. Casey Kochman, the first baseman. John Riggleman is the second baseman. Phil Stillwell is at short. Errol Bloomer, the third baseman, and Bobby Wilson behind the plate.
There is Danielle Williams, the center. Tyler Green will lead off. The shortstop will be followed by Mike Pellerito, Lou Palmisano, Joe Zanarco, Jared Labasco, Steven Encinosa, Chris Munn, Jimmy Bacon, and Robert Rivera. Green hitting .522 coming in. Takes an off-speed pitch low for ball one. .522 with 3 homers, 20 RBI, and he scored 40 runs, says Tyler Green. So he obviously is a catalyst to this team offensively, the Aquinas Raiders. Fastball is wide. It's 2-0 to Tyler Green.
The home plate umpire giving both pitchers that outside corner, and both pitchers are going to take advantage of that.
Breaking ball fouled off the plate. It's 2-1 now to Green. So behind a 2-0, Killalay not afraid to come in with the off-speed breaking ball. Green obviously looking for a fastball there. It was way out in front of it. Count goes to actually 1-2. I stand corrected. Eric talked about the wide strike zone, and that second pitch was a strike. Weak ground ball to third base. Blummer no problem over to Kochman for the first out. So you are correct. Home plate umpire Mark House giving generously that outside pitch. Here's the replay.
You know, Bloomer gets a lot of action over there. Had 5 putouts last night. 5 assists rather. Gets a lot of action over there. It's been some high chopper all week long. No matter who's been the third baseman on any team, they've been getting a lot of action.
Breaking ball to Mike Pellerito, low for ball one. Pellerito came into the tournament, the Final Four, hitting .373, a couple of homers, 23 RBI, and he scored 30 runs. He's the second baseman.
Pellerito belted a double in deep center field yesterday, about 380 feet. And remind you, since we're here at Legends Field, the dimensions the same as Yankee Stadium. 318, 314 down the lines, 408 in center field, and in the gaps in left center you have 399, and in right center 385. So these center fielders like Danielle Williams, and of course you have Labasco and Rivera out there now in the field. They have a lot of ground to cover.
Yes, they do. The 2-1 to Pellerito. Dinks it into right field, coming on, and not making the play is Damon Lister. I think he may have lost that in the sun, Eric.
Yes.
He started back and then he tried to dive for it. As you can see by the shadow, the sun is directly in front of him. He's looking right into it, and that's a difficult ball, a low line drive.
Well, he had the natural reaction to go back first. Did not want this ball to get by him. Took a couple steps in, and he had it. Might have hit off the heel of his glove. The best thing he did was keeping the ball in front of him.
That'll be a single for Pellerito. Tough play out there for the right fielder, Lister. Brings up Lou Palmisano. Fastball high and away for ball one. Palmisano hitting .472, 1 homer, 27 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. Killalay chases Pellerito back to first. Wilson, a very good catcher with a big arm, and Killalay with a pretty good move. So it's going to be difficult to run against this combination unless they get a tremendous jump off of Killalay, but he's deceptive. Just another little chink shot down the right field line. He's going to fall for a base hit. On his way to third is Pellerito. So runners at the corners with one out here in the bottom of the first for Aquinas. A couple of singles to right. And the Raiders are in business here in the first.
That pitch looked like it might have been on the outside part of the plate, but that's just a turning your swing inside out and taking it to right field as Palmisano poked that pitch into right and setting up St. Thomas Aquinas. And they have that first and third situation. And now with Joe Zanurko coming to the plate, a chance for him to pick up an RBI. Had a hit yesterday against Lakeland. First and third, see if Coach Lawson puts the runner on first in motion. You mentioned the pickoff move by John Killalea, and Coach Miller says he has one of the best ones for high school baseball. This is where you see a lot of runs scored here in the tournament. Situations just like this.
Breaking ball over for called strike. Nice pitch to Joe Zanurko, the first baseman. Comes in hitting .396 with a couple of homers, 20 RBIs. And he scored 16 runs. There's that move, and diving back, we're going to have a courtesy runner over there for the catcher. That's Evan Swaisland. It's Evan Swaisland running for Palmisano. You can run for the catcher and the pitcher at any time. Fastball could be a double play ball. There's one over to first for the double play. Turned nicely by Riggleman. Stillwell over to Kochman to get Killalay out of the first inning with runners on first and third. So a well-played ball by Riggleman. Turned nicely by Stillwell. And they're out of the inning. They strand one runner to the Aquinas Raiders. On a couple of hits, we'll move to the top half of the second in a scoreless contest.
.9 financing can save over $3,300 on Dodge Ram.
Back up for the top and half of the second inning. Brian Unk's back here along with Eric Keaton. Scoreless contest. Leadoff the hitter this inning is the cleanup batter, Bobby Wilson, the catcher. Takes a breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike. Wilson comes in hitting .436 with 3 homers, 23 RBIs. And 30 runs scored.
Wilson on his way to Mississippi. And of course another prospect that could go high in Major League Baseball draft.
Fastball missing. It's 1-1 to Bobby Wilson. He'll be followed by Errol Bloomer and John Killalay. Third baseman and pitcher respectively here in the second. There's Scott Miller, the third base coach. His first base coach is Rob Francis. Breaking ball missing inside. It's now 2-1 to Bobby Wilson.
Was teasing Bobby Wilson in the post-game news conference last night after the Gonzalez-Tate game. Seems to hit very well with the bases loaded. Very fortunate to come up in those situations. See what he does here with nobody on.
Another off-speed pitch. Pitching him very carefully with no one on is Jay Lawrence, and he falls behind at 3-1. Let's not forget, now Lawrence has pitched 71 innings to this year. Eric, coming into this, he's only walked 16. Outstanding walk to strikeout ratio. Or excuse me, 50 innings, only walked 16. He struck out 71. Fly ball, deep right field. Back goes Robert Rivera, and he puts it away just before the warning track. Did a good job, did Rivera, of fighting off the sun. So Rivera, who started in left field, now in right field. Munn moves over the right fielder to center. The guy who started because of the injury to Giannato, so the starting left fielder puts it away in right field for the first out. Robert doing a nice job of fighting off the sun, and Errol Bloomer steps to the plate.
Bloomer hitting .310, a homer and 18 RBIs. 3 for his last 7. Trying to pick up the first hit for the Warhawks.
Nubs it off the bat. Should be an easy play for Pellerito. Fires over to Zanerko for the second out.
So far, you've seen the right-handers take the ball into right field. You've seen Casey Kochman took one into left field, the left-handed hitter. So really working the outside part of the plate is Lawrence, the pitcher.
Like a little cut fastball, Eric. It had a little movement on it, moving away from Bloomer. He's got it off the end of the bat. This is John Killalay, the pitcher, hitting .338, 20 RBIs, and 20 runs scored. Breaking ball in there for a called strike, and Lawrence continues to pitch ahead of the hitters. The only one he's fallen behind was Wilson. He got him to fly out deep right to start this inning. That one hits him, so Seminole with their first base runner as Killalay, the pitcher, hit with like an inside fastball. And he'll be a two-out base runner at first.
No fear in the box. Take one for the team. That's the old adage. Takes it right on the front part of the leg, and he'll get a pinch runner. TJ Large will come in, last night's game-winning pitcher.
So Large will be the courtesy runner for the pitcher here with two outs. Large, a very good base runner, according to Scott Miller. See, with a left-hander up, and they're going to have to hold him on with two outs. Knowing Large can run pretty well, so big hole on that right side now for Phil Stillwell, the shortstop.
And he's a switch hitter.
Came in hitting .298 with 13 RBI, 10 runs scored. 2 key hits last night in the win. Pokes one on the left side. Tyler Green, easy toss over to Mike Pellerito to retire at his side. So Seminole will strand one runner in the bottom half of the second inning in a scoreless contest.
You gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat. Say, who do you think you are? You won't get far unless you eat.
You gotta eat a Checkers spicy chicken sandwich, now just 99 cents. It's all white meat and it's spiced just right. Served hot and fresh with crisp lettuce and mayo.
In between, without a doubt, we'll give you something really, really good. That's
Checkers spicy chicken sandwich, now just 99 cents.
You gotta eat.
Brian Ox, Derek Keaton back with you. Legends Field in Tampa, where the New York Yankees train. The Class 5A State Baseball Championship between the Seminole Warhawks, the #1 ranked team in the nation, against the #8 ranked team, the Fort Lauderdale St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. They'll be batting in the bottom half of the second. You see Killalay's outstanding numbers coming in, the left-handed pitcher. It'll be Jared Labasco, Steven Encinoso, and Chris Munn, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Aquinas. Face Killalay here in the bottom of the second. Just going to stand corrected. The first we thought was hit in the first inning was called an error on the right fielder. Pretty tough call on the line drive out there towards Damon Lister. So there's only one base hit in the game. That was the clean base hit by Lou Palmisano in the first. The one by Pellerito was ruled by the official scorer here in the Legends Field as an error. Line drive, foul and out of play, and Killalay quickly in front of Labasco at 0-2.
St. Thomas Aquinas has a first-year coach, but back here in the championship. Won it in 1995.
Breaking ball strikes him out swinging. So 3 pitches, and down goes Labasco for the first out here in the second.
That was a big looping curveball. Had a nice break on it. Almost down in the dirt. As Killalay really pulled down the shade on that one.
Encinosa, the designated hitter, takes ball 1. Came in hitting .461. Limited action with 8 RBIs and 5 runs scored. Count even as a 1-1 to Steven Encinosa.
Encinosa had the game-winning hit against Lakeland in the semifinals.
Breaking ball just missing. Mark House has been giving that pitch. Must have been a little bit high.
Kilolea going to the breaking ball a lot here in the bottom of the second against these right-handed hitters.
The 2-1 to Encinosa. Swinging, waving at a wide fastball to even the count at 2-2.
Well, if you're Encinosa, you had to know it was coming with the majority of breaking balls your way. He just got a little too anxious and went for one out of the strike zone.
The 2-2 on the way. Pulls the string and strikes him out swinging. 2 outstanding off-speed pitches in a row. And 2 strikeouts in a row registered by John Kilolea.
Well, you look at this pitching staff for Seminole and a quality left-hander and John Kilolea, an ace on this staff. But you look at last night's winner and T.J. Large, he's an ace. Ryan Dixon, who's the designated hitter, he's an ace. This team is just loaded with arms.
That last strikeout was just a straight change. Eric did a great motion and just pulled the string on Encinosa. This is Chris Munn, the center fielder, takes the first pitch high for ball 1. There's that breaking ball way out in front of that, and the count evens at 1-1. Munn hitting .358 coming in with a homer, 12 RBIs, and he scored 17 runs.
Up and down that lineup for the Raiders, nobody hitting less than .333.
Fastball catching the outside corner. It's 1-2 to Chris Munn.
Kilolea's location has been outstanding thus far in this contest, working that outside part of the plate and bringing the breaking pitch.
Fastball wide. The count evens at 2-2 to Munn. Started the game, did Chris Munn in right field, moved to center when Giannotti went down in the first inning on the second put out of the game with a leg injury as he collided with the left fielder. Off-speed pitch struck out the side, all on off-speed pitches. Outstanding second inning for John Kilolea. The pitcher, 3 up and 3 down. He moved to the top half of the third in a scoreless contest.
Only at the dugout.
Only at the dugout.
Only at the dugout. Dead ball, all sides from the defense.
So let's go down to Ed Hughes.
Thank you. Big hit. Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Before the snap, movement on the offensive line.
Brian Alex, Derek Keaton, back with you here at Legends Field. We are going to the top half of the third inning in a scoreless game. It's been a pitcher's duel between Jay Lawrence and John Kilolea. 2 outstanding pitchers for Aquinas and the Seminole Warhawks. We're going to have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Seminole here in the top of the third. Ryan Dixon, John Riggleman, and then back to the top of the order in Danielle Williams. Dixon comes in hitting .521, 5 homers, 29 RBIs, 23 runs scored. Slow roller back up the middle. Tyler Green, strong arm, throws out Dixon for out number 1 here in the third.
Well, that's just Ryan Dixon wanting to make something happen. He has not been in the lineup since the latter part of March. And he had a torn labrum in his right arm. And he's a pitcher, but still that didn't irritate him as far as swinging the bat. He's on his way to the University of Miami, and that's just a little anxious.
He's a great prospect as a pitcher. Hopefully he'll bounce back fully from that surgery. Outstanding hitter also. Bottom of the order, John Riggleman comes in hitting .240. Takes the breaking ball for ball 1.
It's probably one of my favorite players that I've been able to watch here in Pinellas County. It's got to be Riggleman. He's just a guy that does all the little things for you. He's going to get on base, doesn't matter how, whether it's an error, walk, slap one to the right side. It may not look pretty, but he's going to get on.
Down low inside. It's 2-0 to Riggle. When we saw him start the double play in the first, it got Killalay out of trouble. And it wasn't necessarily double play ball, Eric. That was kind of a touch and go when he got rid of that ball in a hurry over to Stillwell in great shape to retire both runners and end the inning with a threat on first and third. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. It's 2-1 now to Riggleman.
I don't think Riggleman thought that was a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. He might have thought it was on the outside part of the plate, and it was a breaking pitch, but he did not agree with the call. Pretty good eye.
Of the plate. No.
Pretty good eye up there in Riggleman. They call him Riggs. He's a cut up as well.
Time called.
You know, and you mentioned his defensive playing ability. Started out with Indian Rocks Christian. I remember interviewing him for a few stories, and just all seniors for this Seminole team. Quality ball club. Final game.
Fastball missing. It's 3-1 now to Riggleman.
See, Riggleman's thinking that's the same pitch I just faced on the last throw, and I should be down on first base.
He may try now to.
Should see a fastball here.
Work his way on base for Danielle Williams. The 3-1. That one is low and away, and he draws the walk. 5-pitch walk given up, unusual by Jay Lawrence. Again, he's only walked 16 coming in 50 innings. So he'll be a 1-out base runner at first. Back to the top of the order, and Danielle Williams, who popped up to the pitcher, Lawrence, to start the game.
And as far as Lawrence, he's been getting ahead of all of the hitters, and here he picks the number 9 guy to fall behind a little bit. Now he's back to the top of the order. Don't be surprised if Williams tries to drop one down, maybe push one to the first, or go ahead and sacrifice with the number 2 guy coming up.
Well, Jimmy Bacon realizing that, moving up a little bit at third, playing it just off the infield grass at double play depth. And he pushes it on the right side. And they're going to just retire Williams. It was close. Looked like an easy play initially for Joe Zanerko, coming over to cover Mike Pellerito, and Williams almost beat him to the bag. So the outstanding speed by Danielle on the play. Riggleman moves to second.
Williams got the head of the bat out there and punched this one just a little bit too far. First baseman thought about throwing it over to second. Zanerko took a look and decided to go ahead and get the easy out, let his pitcher get Skorupski at the plate.
Whether they scored that a sacrifice, it looked to me like he was bunting for a hit there, but again, in the first inning we thought there was a base hit and they called it an error, so we'll wait for the official score. 2-out base runner at second base, John Skorupska. The left fielder flew out to the center fielder and Giannotti in the first, and that's when Giannotti left the game. Breaking ball is over the outside part of the plate for strike 1.
Lawrence now with his first real threat by Seminole, with a runner out there in scoring position in Riggleman. Riggleman has some wheels. With 2 outs, he'll be going when the ball's put in play.
The 0-1 is Skorupski. Grounded 1-hop, 2-hopper to the shortstop. Green, the throw, retires the side. So the Warhawks strand 1 runner. We move to the bottom half of the third inning in a scoreless contest.
Third down, 7. Merrill with his first pass of the year. Intercepted by Workman. This baby is going to be over.
Chance to win it with 2 points. Corey Crumble. He's going to take it himself. Puts it up and in.
He did a great job to get his body in front of the ball.
Oh, through and a goal. Hammond needs the 3. She hits it.
Get into the end zone. Runs over a defender for the touchdown. Turn out the lights. This party is over.
To the phone lines. You were on Sportsline.
Obviously, what you guys said is 100% correct. There's not too much to pick apart in the Bucks game. I had a comment first, both pertaining to the double race.
I just wanted to make a quick comment about college basketball.
How could America America in general. Keep the soccer frenzy going.
My buddy and I watched the Storm game last night.
Here we go, fellas. It goes to hockey.
Back at Legends Field in Tampa, moved to the bottom half of the third in a scoreless 5A state championship game between the Seminole Warhawks and the St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. Brian Ox back along with Eric Keaton. Hope you're enjoying Time Warner's coverage of outstanding high school baseball. John Killalay hooked up in a pitching duel with Jay Lawrence from Aquinas. Killalay struck out the side in the second. 8, 9, and 1 hitters: Bacon, Robert Rivera, and back to the top of the order, and Tyler Green here in the third. For Aquinas, first pitch is inside for ball 1 to Jimmy Bacon, who came in hitting .333 with 3 homers, 22 RBIs, and 18 runs scored. Line drive, left side, could be trouble. Extra bases for Jimmy Bacon. Running it down to Skorupski. They'll fire it back in, and Bacon on second with a leadoff double here in the bottom of the third inning.
Fine piece of hitting by Jimmy Bacon. Did it in the semifinals with the glove, and here today picking up his second hit in the Final Four, just lacing that one down the left field line. Going to take a weird hop on Skorupski here. He's fortunate that it bounces back in play just a tad away from him and towards second base so he can get the throw back in. Otherwise, Bacon might have took off the third.
Seminole looking for the sacrifice from Rivera. Squares around, gets it. They've got a shot at third. Too late, though, and that could kill the Warhawks. As Casey Kochman thought he had a shot, but good base running there by Jimmy Bacon. Beats the throw, and now they have runners at the corners with nobody out here in the third.
Kochman just trying to make a play, had to put the tag on him. Clearly beating the throw is Bacon, and he's pumped up because now it's first and third for the Raiders and nobody out. And they have a leadoff hitter in Tyler Green, who has to be due. Anybody hitting .522 coming into the tournament with 40 runs scored has to be due for a hit.
Down with nobody out here in the bottom half of the third inning and no score. The Warhawks will be looking for a double play ball up the middle. They'll play the infield at double play depth with nobody out. And the fastball is wide to Green, who grounded to third to start the game.
Well, the third lineup, they can afford to give up a run, go ahead and get the couple of outs. That's not a problem for Seminole.
Moves, Killalay moving. The runner, Rivera, back. First base coach is Chris Hill, who I played semi-pro ball against up in Delaware 20-some years ago. His father was a scout for the Pirates. Leroy Hill, say hi to his dad. I'm sure we'll see this tape eventually. Breaking ball. That one was a strike an inning ago, Eric, and the Seminole fans reminding him, played umpire Mark Howes of that, who all of a sudden is tightening up the strike zone. It's 2-0 to Tyler Green. Fastball catching the inside corner, and the count goes to 2-1.
That pitch just too inside for Tyler Green, trying to turn on a pitch here. What he could go for is just a shot up the middle. Drive it right past the infield.
Off speed pitch out in front, and it's 2-2 to Tyler Green. Killalay struck out the side of the last inning. A strikeout right here would be very big for the Warhawks.
Green a little over anxious there, chasing a pitch way out of the zone.
The 2-2 fastball, line drive, left field, base hit for Tyler Green. Scoring easily will be Jimmy Bacon. And the Aquinas Raiders take the 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third with runners still on first and second and nobody out.
Well, I mentioned that Green was due, and here he just drives this pitch into left field. Skorupski realizes he's not going to have a play at the plate, even though Bacon did go back to third base to make sure that ball was not caught. And he gets dirty just so he can go home after the game and say, Mom, I played hard.
Let's see whether Pellerito now came in hitting .373, the second baseman, with nobody out, is going to try to bunt the runners over. Killalay chasing the runners back, and great play by Kochman to knock that ball down. That was almost thrown away.
Yeah, Kochman was behind the runner. And usually if you see that, it's pretty much what the Mets did last year. If you caught the World Series, they would go ahead and used the pickoff at first.
Bunt is
playing
popped up.
of the runner.
And it'll roll foul. Great play by Killalay to let it roll foul, because that would have been a base hit. Sacrifice bunt, popped in the air, kicked to the left side and rolled foul. And it's 0-1 on Mike Pellerito.
Nice decision by Killalay to make sure he saw the spin on that ball, knew he was close to the foul line, let it go, get ahead of the hitter. Daniel Williams way in at center field. He has the speed where he can catch up. Obviously, Seminole feels there will still be a bunt on.
He takes it high, and the count evens at 1-1.
Now Kochman's coming in at first. They're going to rely on Killalay to take anything that is on his right side down the third base. Bloomer's staying at third, hoping that they can get a force out at third base.
Around the bunt again, and does not get it down as Pellerito. It was not a good effort, and it falls behind at 1-2. Let's see whether they leave the bunt on, does Coach Robert Lawson, or whether he allows him to swing away down with 2 strikes. Here's Coach Robert Lawson.
Said he wasn't thinking too much about reaching the state finals and the Final Four here in his first year. He said possibly next year, or maybe over the summer, when we have.
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
When we have a chance to think about it. He said, right now, if I take my focus off the ball game, we might not make it past the final 2.
I think he may have left the bunt on. He just kind of shook his, didn't put a signal on, just shook his head to the batter, Pellerito. They called time to go down and confer with Robert Lawson.
Well,
1-2, nobody out here in the bottom of the third. 1 run already in. Aquinas leading at 1-0. Gonna swing away, off-speed pitch, just missing. Again, that looked like the same pitch. It was a strike an inning ago.
Well, you're going to hear the grumblings from the fans. They're not going to like. One side is going to enjoy the call, the other one is not. But a big pitch, a big strikeout for John Killalay. That's what he's looking for, and he's missed outside with both of those pitches. Now ran the count to full. See if Coach Lawson puts the runners in motion here. He's got some speed out on the base pass.
Some pressure on the Seminole defense, but could run into a double play if Killalay can get a strikeout. Let's not forget he struck out the side in the last inning.
Seminole did have one of those last night. Strike him out, throw him out.
Not going. Foul down the right field line and out of play, and the count remains full to Mike Pellerito, who sent a liner to right field that I thought should have been a base hit, but the official scorer here called it an error in his first and only at bat.
Pressure pitch. With a man on the hill. Do not want to load the bases with the third hitter coming up, Luis Palmisano, and you can hear the reaction from the crowd. That's because the home plate umpire just went and brushed off home plate.
That's what I'm sure they were asking him to do. After
sarcastically giving him a hand.
A couple of pitches ago, the one breaking ball looked pretty good from up here, but we do not have obviously the angle that the home plate umpire Mark Howes has. Seminole and John Killalay will look for a double play ball right here.
They're trying to bust him inside.
Breaking ball, line drive, left center field. He left it up, and it's going to hurt. Daniel Williams over in a hurry, gets it into the infield. The runner will score easily. That was Robert Rivera. It's 2-0. Aquinas, and they still have runners at first and second with nobody out here in the third. So consecutive RBI singles by Tyler Green and Mike Pellerito stake Aquinas to a 2-0 lead.
Keeping the hands back, not getting the bat out too soon and waving at one. A nice piece of hitting by Pellerito. No chance for Williams to make a play at the plate. Good speed coming around from second.
I got that breaking ball up on the 13th pitch, and Pellerito waited back, as you mentioned, and sent it sharply into left center field. Round the bunt, gets it down nicely. Wilson's only play is to first, but the runners advance with 1 down. Nice sacrifice by the catcher, Lou Palmisano. And single to back in the first.
And he's the third hitter. A lot of people might look at the scorebook or look at the situation and say, hey, why are you having your number 3 hitter? Well, Coach Lawson said, sometimes if we can get the 3-run homer, great. But he's not going to waste an opportunity to move runners over, even if his 3rd or 4th hitter come to the plate.
So Robert Lawson putting the bunt on with his number 3 hitter. Green at third, Pellerito now at second for Joe Zanerko, who grounded into a double play to end the first inning. Erko is going to call timeout. And out comes the pitching coach for Seminole, Jerry Reed.
You don't see him make this trip too much to the mound for Seminole. But he is going to discuss a few things with his pitcher and his catcher. Of course, Jerry Reed pitched in the majors with the Seattle Mariners.
All his pitchers are undefeated on the field this year, so he has not had to make
not a bad job.
Moves. But in trouble here. John Killalay, after an outstanding second inning, struck out the side. Bacon started it out with a line drive double down the left field line. Then Rivera bunted, and Kochman tried to get Bacon at third, but was too late. That was a fielder's choice. And then consecutive singles by Green and Pellerito to drive runs in. The sacrifice bunt by Palmisano, second and third, 1 out, 2 runs in here in the third.
And going from the windup is Killalea.
Fastball for a strike.
A base hit would score 2. Out on second base, you have Pellerito. He's the quarterback of the football team that took St. Thomas Aquinas to the championship game.
The 0-1 breaking ball out in front, swings through it for strike number 2. Does Zanerko. Killalay obviously looking for a strikeout here if he can get one.
Well, he's finally ahead of a hitter.
The 0-2 to Zanerko. Fastball struck him out looking. That looked wide, but House now giving it to him. The key second out for the Seminole Warhawks. Another look at it. That's off the plate by a foot. But
Wilson does a nice job of framing it up.
Maybe 6 or 8 inches, but it was wide.
Wilson, a nice job there of taking that pitch and putting it back in the zone.
So Jared Labasco, who struck out swinging in the second, steps to the plate with 2 outs, takes a breaking ball right through the heart of the plate for strike number 1.
That's what you call the hook, and that's what Labasco and Encinosa, the next 2 hitters, looked at their first time through facing John Killalay.
The 0-1 fastball high and wide. You count him as a 1-1 to Jared Labasco. Tyler Green is your runner at third. Mike Pellerito over at second. 2 runs in on the RBI singles off the bats of both of those gentlemen. Breaking ball well out in front. And 1-2 now to Jared Labasco.
A base hit here for St. Thomas Aquinas is huge. And watching Seminole all season long, the farthest I've seen them down is 3-0. So any run helps the cause for the Raiders.
Fastball swings and misses. Might have been a straight changeup. 4 out number 3. So Killalay gets out of that one pretty well when you look at the situation. 2 runs are in, however, on 3 hits. 2 men left on base. Move to the top half of the 4th inning with Aquinas leading it 2-0.
Why do we call them steak burgers? Because we can. This is what our original steak burger looked like in 1934. Who says they don't make them like they used to? Why do we slice our pickles the long way? Why do we slice our pickles the long way?
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Brian Hawks, Derek Keaton back with you at Legends Field in Tampa, where the Raiders from St. Thomas Aquinas have taken a 2-0 lead on a 3-hit 3rd inning. And the Warhawks will be batting here in the top half of the 4th. The #1 team in the nation. There are some Aquinas fans in the full regalia.
Look what the sun did to their hair.
Been out a little bit too long at the beach in Fort Lauderdale, I guess.
The sunscreen seems to be working on the face. Both pitchers in their last times out, Ryan, really got big outs. I mean, you had Skorupski. Lawrence got the best of him, had him ground out with a runner in scoring position with Kochman coming to the plate in that last inning with Killay getting the big strikeout, possibly going down 4-0 if he gave up a base hit. So both pitchers in pressure situations did the job.
Casey Kochman's first pitch swinging, skies it in the infield. It's going to be a foul ball. Catcher over, making the play is Lou Palmisano. Kochman upset with Casey Kochman, an outstanding prospect. Howard Hinesley, superintendent of schools in Pinellas County, said he talked to a scout of the game and said Kochman is a major league first baseman right now, and he's a Triple-A hitter right now, and he's just been a little anxious in his 2 at-bats here in this contest, Eric.
Well, according to Team1Baseball.com, he could be the first and only high school first baseman taken in the first 5 rounds of the Major League Baseball draft coming up in a couple of weeks. And then, check this one out, Brian. You go to CubsProspects.com. They have a mock draft. They have Kochman going to the 3rd overall pick, that being the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Outstanding prospect. This is Bobby Wilson, another pretty good prospect, the catcher. He flew out deep to right field to start the 2nd inning.
Well, you know the pitcher's doing a good job when he can get the 3rd and the 4th guy up and have them basically, again, starting the inning over, leading it off, trying to get on base.
Tried to check a swing. He did not, and the count was at 1-1 to Bobby Wilson. Only 7 innings, remember, in high school baseball. So when you fall behind in the middle of the contest, a little extra pressure. Looked to me like you did check the swing, but the bat came across the plate, and Mark House calling it. And line drive down the right field line. Over in a hurry to cut it off was Rivera. Does a good job of holding Bobby Wilson to a single, but Seminole with their first hit of this contest off the bat of Bobby Wilson. Let's see if that gets the bats going now for the Warhawks.
Wilson's been hot 5 of his last 8. Nobody on base for him here, but he finally gets the first hit for the Seminole Warhawks. Fought off that pitch, sent it into right field. Now Errol Bloomer, who came in 3 of his last 7. His first time around, grounded out to the 2nd baseman.
Third baseman, nothing in 1, as Eric mentioned in this game. Takes a breaking ball in there for called strike 1.
I'll tell you, Lawrence, we've mentioned this throughout this contest, but he's really done a nice job of staying ahead of hitters.
Yes, he has. Again, only 16 walks coming in 50 innings, and he struck out 71 in 50 innings. It's an outstanding strikeout to walk ratio for any pitcher at any level. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice play by Palmisano. Moves well for a catcher. We saw him stay with that high pop-up, the foul pop-up by Kochman. Looking into a tough sun and put it away. Good-looking athlete.
They're playing Bloomer to put one into left center.
The 1-1 to Bloomer. Ground ball. This is to Green. Green to Pellerito over to first for the inning-ending double play. So the 6-4-3 double play executed to perfection by Aquinas. Green to Pellerito to Zanerco to retire the side. We move to the bottom of the 4th. The score, St. Thomas Aquinas 2 and the Seminole Warhawks nothing.
Whether you're a .com, a non-com, a hot mom, whether you got a stockpile or a rock pile, your wild southern soul is about to feel different. Every minute in your Dodge is a minute worth living.
The only available V8 in its class, 4 big doors, and now a big $2,000 cash allowance or low 0.9 financing. In a word, it's big.
Brian Unks back along with Eric Keaton. We're getting to the bottom half of the 4th inning. 2-0 Aquinas. The Raiders from St. Thomas Aquinas over the Seminole Warhawks. The #1 ranked team in the nation, the Warhawks. Aquinas ranked number 8. Scott Miller there talking to Mark House, the home plate umpire. And
he might be talking to him about that last double play, because to me it looked like Pellerito caught the baseball off the bag. Now, of course, anybody that follows baseball, whether it's Major League Baseball or college baseball, the infield umpires are very generous at giving the second baseman or the shortstop at making the turn when they're around the bag. Off the bag, well makes the catch. That might be what he's arguing about. Of course, we have no way of knowing, but that's a pro call right there.
That is, but that was so.
But we're not
that
playing
was
pro
so
ball.
blatant. I mean, he wasn't dragging his leg. A lot of times, if they drag the leg and maybe don't make the clean contact with the bag, but he was past the bag when he caught that ball. And it was a good pickup by my partner Eric Keaton there. It's going to be up to this man, John Killaway, for the Warhawks to keep them in the game after a two-run third inning. This fine Aquinas team with 3 hits, one double and a couple of RBI singles by Tyler Green and Mike Pellerito give them the 2-0 lead. Line drive foul out of play off the bat of Steven Encinoso. He struck out swinging back in the second, the inning that Killaway struck out the side. Killaway has 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. And has allowed 4 hits.
Encinoso did not start yesterday, but gets the call today. Breaking ball was his enemy, his arch enemy, the first time through, and here he's trying to sit on a fastball.
The 1-1, there's a breaking ball, slow roller back up the middle. Pellerito makes the nice play, showing good range. 4 out number 1 here in the 4th.
Tried to sit on a fastball, but Mr. Killalea wasn't going to give him one. Push it to the right side, and Riggleman with very good range and the long throw from deep at second base.
Of course, that is John Riggleman. I had the Aquinas defense still up. My apologies to Mr. Riggleman. Makes a nice play there from behind the bag. Chris Munn now playing center. He struck out swinging to end the second inning. Came in hitting .358. Takes a fastball on the outside part of the plate. Evens the count at 1-1. Breaking ball missing wide. It's 2-1 now to Chris Munn.
Chris Munn trying to get something started here for St. Thomas Aquinas. They have to build on that 2-0 lead. I would not think that it would be safe with watching Seminole play and the bats that St. Thomas Aquinas possesses.
Got some help that time. KD Wright, the first base umpire, tells Mark House, yes, he did swing, and it's now 2-2. Chris Munn. Well, they were down 2-1 yesterday. Eric came back, and it was the only game. You see that the bat did cross the plate. Didn't break the wrist as much, but it crosses the plate. Whether they call it a strike, they call it a swing. Swung through an off-speed pitch for the second out. 6 strikeouts now registered by John Killaway.
And Munn almost spun around a second time and almost tried to take a 4th strike, or almost hit it with his backhand. He spun around off balance on this pitch.
Like a straight change again, Eric. He's throwing a breaking ball and a straight change.
Well, that's what he possesses, the breaking ball in the low 70s. That changeup will hit the high 60s, and his fastball, he can touch up the radar gun in the low 90s, usually maintains that high 80-mile-per-hour average.
Bacon
Look at
sends a sharp line drive.
Knocks somebody off their seat, and he still caught it.
Sending that fan up.
I think he sat on it.
Bacon started the 3rd inning with a double in that direction. A little late on that one, but he sent it down the third base side. And he scored the first run of the contest. There's a breaking ball in the dirt. And it's 1-1 to Jimmy Bacon, the 3rd baseman.
That was the bottom of the order, as you mentioned, Bacon with the double. Getting it started for St. Thomas Aquinas, as he'll take a little bit of time to readjust some of the batting gloves before he steps back in. Aquinas knows that they can get a rally going and touch up Killalea.
Breaking ball well out in front, and it's 1-2 to Jimmy Bacon. Struck him out looking. 3 up and 3 down go Aquinas in the bottom of the 4th. We go to the top of the 5th. Aquinas leading it over the Seminole Warhawks by the score of 2-0.
We formed the Jerry Hattricks because we love hockey, we love to skate, and we want to play. We're all over 60, so what? We travel around the country, we'll play any club, anytime, as long as they're on Social Security. You know, people say to me, you've had 2 hips replaced, why don't you slow down? I had the hips replaced so I could speed up. It's the best thing I ever did. 5 years ago, the osteoarthritis got real bad. Never thought I'd get back on the ice, but now look. No pain, moving like a ninja. My advice, don't throw the whole car away just because you need new tires.
For more information on getting your bones and joints back in the game, call the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons or visit AAOS.org.
Three shots left for the #1 ranked team in the nation. The Seminole Warhawks trailing at 2-0 entering the top of the fifth. Brian Oxdare Keaton back with you here at Legends Field. The Seminole faithful making the short drive across Tampa Bay to get here today on a beautiful afternoon of baseball in Tampa, 5A state championship. Hope you're enjoying Time Warner's coverage. 6, 7, and 8 hitters, John Killaway, Phil Stillwell, and Ryan Dixon to face Jay Lawrence here in the fifth for the Warhawks.
Top of the fifth inning. Any part of the fifth inning, the top or the bottom, has been magic for the Warhawks this season. They seem to have their rallies at about this point. Don't know if Jay Lawrence knows that, but the Warhawks have it. Should step to the plate with a bit of confidence.
Pitch missing wide for ball 1. He's throwing a splitter too, Eric, is Jay Lawrence.
Well, doesn't use it that often, but a lot of ground balls. Because now he starts to fall behind. We saw that he fell behind against Riggleman. The bottom of the order needs some production here. You get Killalea on, you know, he'll have a pinch runner with Stillwell coming up, and he has a bat that can put the ball in play.
Time called. Killalea was hit by a pitch back in the second inning. The 2-0 on its way. Skies one to shallow center. Out goes the shortstop Tyler Green. Cannot make the play. Seeing eye single for John Killalea to start the fifth inning for the Seminole Warhawks. And as Eric Keaton just mentioned, this has been the magic inning for the Warhawks in many key games this year.
Looped the bat a little bit. As you mentioned, skied it, brought it up. Tyler Green not able to go back. He's probably leery of his center fielder out there. His center fielder was not playing too fairly deep, but remember, Giannotti is out of the game, and he was replaced by Labasco in the lineup.
Shortstop Phil Stillwell, 2 key hits last night. The switch hitter steps to the plate. Grounded into a fielder's choice to end the second inning. Tries the bunt, pops it up, and this is going to be a double play. Disastrous for the Warhawks, and a great play by Zanerko. The runner was moving Killalea on the bunt and just did not execute. Phil Stillwell got it up in the air, and a double play results easily for Aquinas.
TJ Large, the pinch runner, he has no idea that the ball had been popped up. He's going to be moving. Has seen Stillwell bunt many a times in practice. BP in games, moving with the pitch. He has the speed, but Coach Miller there had the leadoff runner on, had a good hitter at the plate, somebody that could put the ball in play. Possibly Stillwell should have went with a straight sacrifice and tried not to get on.
Nice diving play by Pellerito to retire to the side. And Aquinas fired up. They are 2 innings away from upsetting the #1 team in the nation, the Seminole Warhawks. Some fine defense in that inning. We go to the bottom half of the fifth inning. Aquinas holding on to the 2-0 lead.
You gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat. Say, who do you think you are? You won't get far unless you eat.
You gotta eat a Checkers spicy chicken sandwich, now just 99 cents. It's all white meat and it's spiced just right. Served hot and fresh with crisp lettuce and mayo.
In between, without a doubt, we'll give you something really, really good. That's
Checkers spicy chicken sandwich, now just 99 cents.
You gotta eat.
Brian Oxdare Keaton back with you here at Legends Field. St. Thomas Aquinas leading it over the Seminole Warhawks 2-0. We move to the bottom half of the fifth inning. We're going to have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters up for Aquinas: Robert Rivera, Tyler Green, and Mike Pellerito. This is the combination that really helped get it started back in the 3rd after Bacon doubled. Rivera bunted. Fielder's choice was safe, and then Green and Pellerito both had RBI singles. John Killoy has settled down since then. 7 strikeouts through 4 innings.
He's retired the last 6 hitters in a row since allowing 4 straight base runners.
Tough play in the hole. Stillwell with a long throw will not get their infield single for Robert Rivera to start the 6th inning. The 5th inning, excuse me.
Stillwell with a nice attempt in the hole, got rid of the baseball very quickly as Bloomer was in on the edge of the grass to prevent a bunt. Kochman realizes that he's not going to get him and comes out to make sure the ball doesn't get by him. A nice job by Stillwell to get over. Just too much wheels running down the first base line.
See whether Green sacrifices the runner over here, leading it 2-0. The move by Killoy chases Rivera back to first. Green is 1 for 2. Grounded out to 3rd and singled and drove in a run back in the 3rd. Squares around, takes a fastball high and wide for ball number 1.
Again, another one of these situations where you have a guy hitting better than .520 during the season and he's squaring around the bunt. See if he just puts it down to sacrifice or if he tries to go for the hit.
Again, Killoy with the move to first.
Something we saw Stillwell do in the top half of the inning. Looked like he was going for the bunt single instead of sacrificing and trying to get the runner in scoring position.
Resulted in the double play. They really killed the threat that inning. There's the bunt. It's a good one on the right side. A lot of confusion by Seminole. Kochman will not get it there in time. He thought that Killoy was going to take it. They didn't communicate. And this is the way that 3rd inning started, with a sacrifice bunt that they took a gamble on, the fielder's choice, and 2 runners on with nobody out. Now look for Mike Pellerito to bunt the runners over. Playing
small ball, working effectively for Lawson. That ball, possibly Kochman thought it was hit just a little bit harder. Maybe he thought Killoy was going to get over there and get it. He backed off. As you mentioned, the communication has been excellent for St. Thomas Aquinas so far. And now with 2 men on, they're forcing their defense and forcing their pitcher to make excellent pitches, not make a mistake, not leave a pitch up.
Looking for the bunt here again, squaring around, taking it high for ball 1 is Mike Pellerito. Was safe on a line drive error in the 1st, and he singled and drove a run in back in the 3rd.
The Seminole baseball team, at least 9 of these players have played with each other since their early teens or even younger than that on different teams in the area. Well, you can say the same about that with St. Thomas Aquinas.
Pops it up. Killoy will not have a double play. Good base running by Aquinas to get back, but good pitching by Killoy to make him pop up the bunt. Now they can look to roll a double play ball and get out of the inning.
Well, the Raiders were not running immediately with the pitch, and that one was popped up a little bit too high. And like Stillwell's, it was more of a line drive. That one stayed up in the air a little bit long, and it gave the Raiders the luxury of recognizing it and heading back to the bag.
Palmisano. The catcher steps to the plate. He's around the bunt, takes it high for ball 1. Palmisano was singled back in the 1st, and he had a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd.
Well, you got your if he can get a sacrifice and get the runners in scoring position, then he can have his number 4 hitter coming up. Chance to get a couple of RBIs.
I think Robert Lawson they may have missed signal there, because I think Lawson was acting like, why are you bunting? But we'll see. Maybe he's backed around. We'll be moving him over with 2 outs, though. Usually your number 3 hitter, you're going to want to hit in this situation. Let's see what happens. With nobody out, I think it's an easy decision to bunt him over. With one out, your number 3 hitter, who came in with 472 with 27 RBIs, I'm going to want him swinging the bat here, Eric. Let's see what happens. He's swinging away. It's a breaking ball wide, and it's 2-0 now.
You know, we were
Palmisano.
We were looking at Palmisano's stats, and 27 RBIs, but only 5 runs scored. He must either sacrifice a lot and have a lot of RBIs that are walk-off situations, game-winning hits. This is technically a game-winning situation for St. Thomas.
Drive to deep left field. Skorupski on his horse is not going to get there. This one's going to fall in. The base runners have to wait to see what's going to be caught. There's going to be a play at the plate. The throw is not going to be in time. Throw to third, not in time. Runners at first and third. 1 run in. And Aquinas now leads it by the score of 3-0.
That was a 380-foot base hit. A rip by Palmisano in the deep left center. Williams can't catch up to it. Ball lands just at the feet of Skorupski. The runner at second had to wait. Looked like there was going to be a play. The ball should have been cut off. They were not going to get him. And then it's a good thing that Bloomer makes the play at third base. If that one gets away, another run is in. At least Seminole still has a double play situation set up with runners at first and third. And another visit to the hill by Reed with Killow.
Yeah, that time Aquinas, the runner that scored, Rivera, got a little further up the bag, and he held a little too close to the bag on that long fly ball and held up the runner behind him, which really kept Palmisano from getting down to second base. Really on that play, they should have runners at second and third with a run in, but first and third, we're going to have that courtesy runner again. Evan Swaisland will come in to run for Palmisano. That's one of the reasons why he has that many RBIs. Picked up number 28 on that swing, Eric. He's only scored 5 runs because they have a courtesy runner for him on many occasions. And you don't have to have 2 outs to get that courtesy runner. Joe Zanerko at the plate.
When you look at these two teams and the quality opponents that they have played, only one common opponent for both of these schools. They each played Palm Harbor University and were victorious. Of course, for Seminole, that was earlier in the season. St. Thomas faced them in late March.
Eric here now with it down 3-0. They're going to pull the infield in with 1 out. They're not going to be up the middle. Double play depth, and Killalay with an off-speed pitch. Zanerko swings through it. He struck him out once, and he got him to ground to the double play back in the first. Strikeout here would be big for Killalay. He puts the ball in play. A run, especially in the outfield, automatically scores pretty much for Aquinas. And he dinks it into right field. That's going to be an RBI single for Zanerko. Actually going to be more than a single. This is going to kick away from the right fielder, Lister. 1 run in. Runners now at second and third after the double off the bat of Joe Zanerko. It's now 4-0 Aquinas, and the wheels are quickly coming off the train for the Seminole Warhawks.
Zanerko will take a hit any way you can get it. Anybody at the plate. This one just quirked down the right field line, and then Lister coming over, fell down, gave the runners an extra opportunity for that extra base. And Zanerko beat feet down to second. And still only 1 out for the Raiders.
Infield way in now. Breaking ball is in there for a called strike to Jared Labasca. He has struck out swinging twice. Late substitution, or came in with 2 down in the first after the injury. The starting center fielder, Giannotti, falls behind 0-2. And he gets him looking. Struck him out 3 consecutive times. Big strikeout there for John Killalay. If Seminole wants to stay in this game, this is a big hitter here, Steven Encinosa.
Well, this is where Giannotti would be hitting if he's still in the contest. He went out with the injury, and Killalay has just had Labasco's number.
Breaking ball is on the outside corner for strike 1. Encinosa is 0 for 2. He struck out swinging in the second. He grounded to second back in the 4th. Infield now back with 2 outs, of course. Runner still second and third. Fastball high and wide. The count was a 1-1 to Encinosa.
Was in the 3rd inning. Pellerito and Green on second and third, left stranded again. If somebody can come up with a big hit.
Speed pitch is down low. It's 2-1.
Encinosa had the big hit in the semifinals. Poked one over to the second base side.
The 2-1 fastball. is wide. It's 3-1 to Encinosa. Evan Swaisland, the courtesy runner, is your runner at third. Over at second is Joe Zanerko. 2 runs already in here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Fouls that one off, and the count runs full to Encinosa.
Encinosa 461 average. Not bad coming off the bench.
Breaking ball and walking to load the bases for Chris Munn.
And a very good eye, very good patience up there for Encinosa. Realizes the situation up there with runners in second, third. And hey, not a problem, take the walk. If you're not going to get your pitch to hit, why swing at something way out of the zone? Kilolea now throwing a lot of pitches, and that breaking ball staying up for him and outside. At the changeup.
Straight change, and Munn, who was struck out swinging twice, way out in front of that one, swings through it, over anxious with the bases loaded. Fastball right through the heart of the plate. It's 0-2 to Chris Munn.
Kilolea has not lost anything on his fastball, as you could hear the pop in the mitt from Bobby Wilson. Comes right back inside.
Struck him out for the 3rd consecutive time. Big strikeout for John Kilolea. They leave the bases loaded, but 2 runs are in on 4 hits. We move to the top half of the 6th. Aquinas doubles the lead. They lead it by the score of 4-0.
Most burger places serve perfectly shaped burgers. Not us. I mean, what's more important? Better geometry or better taste? Go.
Cottage cheese, French fries, coleslaw soup, baked beans, chili salad.
Okay.
Dallas, Illich, Snape, Pass, Wasilok, Servergnerf, Isig, Eagleduck.
Wow, she really does know her platter choices forward and backwards.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Well, it is crunch time for the Seminole Warhawks. Brian Ongstair Keaton back with you here at Legends Field. They trail it 4-0, top half of the 6th inning. We're going to have the number 9 hitter, John Riggleman. Back to the top of the order, Williams and Skrupski after that.
Here we are in the top of the 6th inning, and it's only Riggleman's 2nd time to the plate. Tells you what kind of job that Lawrence has done on the hill.
It does not happen to this Warhawk club that often. He's pitching a 2-hitter so far. That breaking ball is tight for ball 1. Is Lawrence. 2-hitter. The Warhawks have only left 2 men on base. Another breaking ball. And that one, I guess, is high also.
That was high. The first one inside. Riggleman, very disciplined. Walked his first time up, as you mentioned, was stranded and left on second base. For some reason, the number 9 hitter is just giving Lawrence fits.
The 2-0. High. It's now 3-0 for Riggleman. The interesting thing on the 2-hitter so far being pitched by Lawrence, Eric, is he has not registered a strikeout.
He also trying to stretch out that arm. He sat on the bench for a while there in the bottom of the 5th, trying to get loose. These umpires work these guys out here. Don't give them too much time in between innings.
Action, right-hander up in the bullpen for Aquinas. The 3-0 on its way, and that is high. 4-pitch walk to start the 6th for John Riggleman. 2nd consecutive time he has drawn the walk.
And that'll bring up Daniel Williams. And we mentioned earlier about his nickname being Game Time, but first a visit to the hill by St. Thomas Aquinas. As you mentioned, they had action up in the bullpen. But Daniel Williams, a sacrifice his last time up. Reliever out there working is Michael Gula, the reliever, a right-hander, just a junior. 28 innings pitched with a 2-1 record and a 1.75 ERA. Game Time at the plate. You know, for those of you that are not aware of Daniel Williams, should be going to Delta State. Played football And we nicknamed him Game Time because when the cameras were on, he just lit it up.
Breaking ball is wide. Nice play by Palmisano to keep it in front of him. The ball 1.
But even with his nickname and his repertoire, I guess you could say, Brian, for him to be the leadoff hitter, you don't hear much about him on this team. Just tells you the talent that Seminole has, but they have to let it show here now, trailing this one by 4.
Fastball catching the outside corner, 1-1 to Danielle Williams. Danielle scored 26 runs this year and came in hitting .341.
Down by 4. Do not expect Riggleman to be heading down to second anytime soon. It's old station to station.
Swings through. Looks like there may have been a splitter on the inside part of the plate. Fouled it off actually backwards, and it's now 1-2 to Danielle Williams.
Looked like it was in on the part of the hands of Danielle Williams.
Riggleman, your runner at first. Nobody down. Top half of the 6th inning. The Warhawks trailing it 4-0.
I mentioned to Coach Miller, I said, look, you haven't had much production by the top of your order coming in a combined 0 for 13. Yes, they have scored runs, but here is when the leadoff man needs to get a hit. Leadoff man already on in Riggleman, but a hit is needed by number 4.
Fights that one off to stay alive with a breaking ball diving away from him. Fouls it over the dugout. Count remains 1-2 to Danielle Williams. Great running back, receiver, defensive back, return man. He did it all in the football field for Sam Roper's Seminole Warhawks. Had a great season until they ran into that buzzsaw with Braden in Southeast and Ibrahim McPherson.
Having a great season here on the baseball diamond. Running into a buzzsaw right now in St. Thomas Aquinas.
Grounds it on the left side. Bacon to second. Over to first. Not in time to double up Danielle Williams. Great effort by Bacon and Pellerito, though, because Danielle Williams is not grounding the many double plays, and they made it close. The force out at second. Williams will be a 1-out base runner at first.
Williams just trying to put the ball in play. Does not want to go down swinging. Slapping at that one. Clearly beats the throw. Trips over the bag. Williams now with some wheels at first base. Still down by 4. Do not expect him to take off running as Skorupski steps into the plate.
Skorupski flew out to center and is grounded to short. Has 2 at-bats. Jay Lawrence pitching a gem. 2-hitter, has not struck a batter out, but he's kept these potent Seminole Warhawk team off balance. With that up motion, he hides the ball well, kind of throws it across his body. Fastball is almost a natural little cutter, as they would call it. Throws the breaking ball. Doesn't walk many hitters. Giving up 2 walks, both of them to Riggleman, the number 9 hitter.
Yeah, he's had fairly good control despite pitching to the number 9 hitter in the lineup. As now the Warhawk fans try to get behind their team. Been behind them all year, and they've been perfect.
Outside corner for strike 1.
It's been a pitcher's zone this entire contest. A big out here for Lawrence, because if he can get the out here and then allow Kochman to lead off the inning. Now Francis, the first base coach, is coming in, and he's wanting to clarify in that strike zone. Is he arguing, or is he asking for a balk on the pitcher?
Not quite sure what his point was. Let's see.
Looked like a halt in the motion. That pitched low and away.
Yeah, that was a tough strike right there. Not like you said, low and away, it looked like. But
Francis wouldn't have took it for a strike. He would have put it in the right field for a base hit. But these hitters are going to have to realize that's going to be called, and they're going to have to poke it.
The 0-1 to Skorupski. Popped up on the right side. Will it get out of play, or will Zanerko have a shot? It's out of play in about the 5th or 6th row. And falling behind at 0-2 is John Skorupski.
Reliever still working in the pen. Michael Gula. Lawrence so far has kept these Warhawks in check, Brian.
Yes, he has. He's done well. He's, as I said, the outside pitch has been there for both pitchers, and he's kept it low and away. And that's almost an unhittable pitch for a right-handed hitter. The 0-2 high and wide. It's 1-2 to Skorupski. Try to hump up and blow that one by him, but trying to get him to chase a bad pitch.
That's just overthrowing. He hasn't overthrown throughout this contest. See if he keeps him off balance here with that breaking pitch. Looks like he has the grip for the four-seam fastball. See if he drops it on him.
Skorupski pops one on the right side. In comes the right fielder. Rivera will not get there. Hits the chalk. That's a fair ball.
That's a double.
Danielle Williams, that's into the stands for a ground rule double. Williams went back to see if it was going to be caught. And that base running error didn't really hurt him. He didn't want to get all the way out in the second case it was caught, but he needed to get off the base a little bit more than that. But hits the chalk, ground, bounces into the stands, ground rule double. Runners at second and third with one down for Casey Kochman. And the Warhawks with one swing in the bat, Eric, could be right back in this game.
Skorupski's thinking, hey, I just have a foul ball here. I bet you as he's running down the first base line, he's going, get foul, get foul. Then as he sees the outfielders not getting in as fast as they could have, then he starts saying, get down, get down. And that thing touched all chalk, bounced and squibbed into the seats for the ground rule double. And hopefully in the future, if it amounts to anything, he'll be able to tell his kids, you know, I doubled in the state championship game. Won't tell him how he doubled and set up Casey Kochman.
The base open, one out. Let's see if they're careful at least at Kochman.
Might be careful. But Bobby Wilson
around him when you're up 4-0.
Bobby Wilson would love to hit with the bases loaded. But this run on third does not mean a thing for
Breaking
St. Thomas.
Slam down the right field line. It's going to be extra bases off the bat of Casey Kochman. 2 runs will be in. Kochman on his way to second base with a double. The lead cut in half. It's now 4-2. Aquinas first pitch hitting on the breaking ball, Eric, and he slams it down the right field line for the double. Skorupski and Danielle Williams scoring easily.
That was clutch. Breaking pitch right on the belt, and he just slams it into right field. Looked like that ball might have gotten caught underneath the padding. Bad foot and all, Kochman makes it down to second base and scores 2 runs for the Warhawks.
Well, now
and it's going to be a pitching change.
In the dugout now, they're yelling to the hitter, Bobby Wilson, trade places with him. And then comes the right-hander. They talked about Michael Gula. They said he could have been the starter in this game. He's an outstanding pitcher in the minds of the coaches. Scott Miller, or excuse me, Robert Lawson, we talked to before the game, and Chris Hill, first base coach. So Gula is your new pitcher. And Eric, his numbers once again on the year. He has
28 innings pitched, giving up 46 strikeouts and only walked 12. 2-1 record. Command of the strike zone.
75 ERA.
Has a loss with a couple of victories. Coming in now with a runner in scoring position. That will still be Lawrence's man out there on second, being Casey Kochman, unless there is a pinch runner for Kochman. But Wilson now coming to the plate. You mentioned that sure would like to change places with him. Well, they'd like to have him give each other a high five at the plate. Now Kochman coming back out of the dugout. He'd went in momentarily, so he is going to stay in the contest at second base. He was taken out in the 6th inning in the last night's game and went back in to play some defense. Bobby Wilson, in his 2 times at bat, he singled and flew out to right field. He seems to hit very well with runners in scoring position. 6 RBIs coming into tonight in the last 2 contests in the regional final and last night's semifinal against Gonzales Tate.
As you mentioned, he's 1 for 2 in this one. This is a clutch situation right here. And again, with 1 out and your number 4 hitter at the plate who's driven in 23 runs. Let's see if an open base, if they try to pitch around him a little bit, but with a 2-run leader, if they're going to go right after him. Kochman, your runner at second, 1 down, 2 runs in. Aquinas holding on to the 4-2 lead. Fastball is low for ball 1.
Taking to get a good look at the new pitcher. trying to hold this thing and save it for St. Thomas Aquinas.
Breaking ball in there for a called strike. And the count evens at 1-1 to Bobby Wilson.
And that was the first look that Wilson had at the curveball. You can see him bend at the knees a little bit, duck down. Love the way he holds that bat out over the strike zone, basically. Has those hands ready to hit.
Fastball, and he calls that a strike. That looked low and away. That's been a wide pitch. That's been a pitch he's been at least mostly consistent with, has the home plate umpire Mark Howells, but puts Wilson in a hole of 1-2. That's a tough pitch to hit.
Took a high fastball down on the count 0-2 against Gonzalez Tate last night. Down 1-2 here.
Fastball fights it off to stay alive at 1-2.
You know, usually when you're out there and you have 2 strikes on you, you're trying to protect the plate, trying to choke and poke, put it anywhere, put it in play. But Bobby Wilson is going to get his cuts. If he pokes it, he can poke it about 380 feet.
Certainly look big right here for the Warhawks. The 1-2 to Wilson. Breaking ball, fights it off. Slow roller on the left side. Goes through the shortstop. Tyler Green on his way to third is Kochman. Good alert base running by Kochman. Although probably maybe should have been off on the roller, but when you're down by 2, you don't want to take a chance. So that was not bad base running. The error will be on Tyler Green. Unusual, outstanding fielder normally. Now Seminole with runners at the corners with 1 down for Errol Bloomer.
Just slapping down on the pitch, a high pitch that Green just could not handle. Don't know if it took a bad hop, if it had a Seminole Warhawks spin on it, but Wilson will take it. He gets on base, first and third for the Warhawks. Green and all these players out here, you can ask both coaches, you know, how well do they play defense? And all of them tell us, hey, you know, this is how we got here. You know, we had to play defense in order to get here. So an error just like that, a physical error, it's going to happen. A bad time for St. Thomas Aquinas.
And that's the type of team Seminole's been. They put a lot of pressure on you in a big game like this. Get a little nervous and things like that happen. We're a little anxious trying to make a play before the ball's to you or whatever. Run into the corners, 1 down for Earl Bloomer. Takes that fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike 1.
That's when you hear the moans and groans out here. You can even see the fans with the hands on their face. It's crunch time here. Seminole does not want to wait till the top of the 7th, and here they are, the meat of the order that's been 12 for 21 coming into this game.
Breaking ball high for ball 1. It's 1-1 to Bloomer. Well, you know, if you had a major league pitcher like Maddox who could paint that and keep that pitch on the knees 6 inches off the outside part of the plate, nobody would get a hit. The way the strut, but these high school pitchers can't hit that spot every time, obviously. The 1-1 on its way in the dirt. Good job by Palmisano to keep it in front of him, to keep the runners from advancing, and more importantly, to keep the runner at third, Kochman, from scoring. He's going to go out now and talk things over with Gulla, Mike Gulla, the junior right-hander.
It looked like Gulla was having some problems with his footing. He checked back.
That's a nice play by the catcher there.
As you can see, after the end of that play, looked back at the hill to see where he was slipping. Of course, when you throw a pitch in the dirt, you're trying to find any explanation besides your arm throwing one in the dirt, but he's fresh.
Wilson, you runner at first. Kochman, you runner at third. 1 down. 2 runs already in here in the top of the 6th. Breaking ball, a fly ball to left field. Kochman's going to tag up in. Can't make the play. Going to fall for a base hit in front of Labasco. Kochman on his way. He will score easily. It's now 4-3. Aquinas 3 runs in for the Warhawks here in the 6th inning. RBI single for Errol Bloomer.
This looks like a routine out in left field. But Labasco just could not catch up to it, kept the ball in front of him, trying to get Kochman with the hurt wheel running down the third base line, but he hustles in. It's 2 balls now that were hit. 1 down the right field line that went into the seats, and then this one that looked like they were either going to be foul or caught for Seminole.
That was the big swing, Eric, off the end of the bat that always fools an outfielder. He initially froze in his tracks because he had such a big swing. He thought it was going to be to him or over his head, and he had to end up coming in. He could not get there in time. The batter of the pitcher, John Killaway. bouncing up there. Another great play by Palmisano. Very impressed with the fundamentals of both of these catchers, Eric. These guys are well coached, well schooled, big time athletes. Very, very fundamentally sound catchers in high school baseball.
Just watch Palmisano, recognizes it, keeps it in front of him. Went to his knees like much a hockey goalie. All tournament long, you're mentioning the fundamentals, no matter who was out here catching and out in the field. Very little errors committed. The catchers keeping the ball in front of him. Of course, quality pitching out on the hill. Not too many wild pitches. Teams that are here, all of them, whether they made it this far or not, deserve to be here.
Killalay is 1 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and he singled. Another one in the dirt. And another great play by Palmisano. And the young junior Mike Gullah now maybe feeling the pressure, facing the #1 team in the nation. 3 runs in. He came in relief of the starter, Jay Lawrence. And out comes the pitching coach again to talk things over. And now, as I said, in the bottom of the 5th inning, when Seminoles, the wheels coming off their train, now Aquinas. And there's another man up in the bullpen for Aquinas.
They've got Adam Espinola, pitcher up. And another right-hander to go. And, you know, we talked with Coach Miller before, and he said that the one pitcher that seemed to give us trouble all season long was the left-handers that throw medium range, around 75, 80 miles an hour. First base coach Rob Francis mentioned 19 out of 30 games we face left-handers and right-handers we like. We don't see them that much.
Killalay takes it for a strike. The 2-1 pitch. A little bit. It was at the knees, so he didn't want to swing at that one. When you hit 2-0, you want a good pitch to drive.
Well, especially 2-0. If he would have thrown him 2 balls around the plate, he might have been swinging at a 2-0 in a hitter's count. But with 2 going in the dirt, he was taken all the way.
Rounds it sharply foul down the first base side. And the count evens at 2-2 to John Killalay. Going back to second. Will be the runner, Bobby Wilson.
You see, Wilson's a catcher. He will run. He's a big guy, and he doesn't chug. He's a guy that any football coach would love to have on their team. He's a big guy, but pure baseball player. He's got some wheels.
Well, Bloomer, your runner at first. 1 down here in the top of the 6th. 3 runs already in. The Warhawks trailing it 4-3. Fights that one off. Down the first base side again. Foul to stay alive at 2-2.
Gullah now, he is doing a nice job of keeping the ball down. He has had some pitches in the dirt, but he's battling now. Needs an out, needs a double play.
Killalay needs to put it in play. Breaking ball, off speed, inside and high, and the count runs full to John Killalay.
Moved him off the pitch.
Start the runners here down by 1 with 1 down. Now, obviously, a line drive, it's a disaster, or a swing through and a strikeout. Seminole has not had a strikeout yet in this game. They've put the ball in play.
But you don't want to make the last out at third base. Runners stay.
They stay, and he fouls it off at the plate. Big swing, and just got a piece of it. Down by 1, not taking any chances. Scott Miller, the coach. Let's see, take a look at this one. That one running in on him a little bit. Another sort of cut fastball ran in the hands of Killalay.
Since the last visit to the mound, Gullah has done a better job at getting the ball to the plate. Will he come again with the curveball, try to pop Killalay inside with the fastball, or go away? Remember now, he's had some problems with the fastball getting the pitch in the dirt.
Payoff pitch, pops it straight back, right towards his into the screen to stay alive. So Killalay with a good at bat, fighting off some tough pitches. Three runs in this inning on 3 hits, 2 of them doubles. One of them a scorching double by Casey Kochman. Skorupski's. Pop down the right field line and hit the line, but he'll take it. Again, the payoff pitch. Breaking ball high for ball 4. He walks the bases loaded for Phil Stillwell, yesterday's hitting hero.
Nice piece of hitting by John Killalay, fighting off pitches. And now he'll get a break, come back to the dugout as TJ Large will run for him.
Good move here by Scott Miller and his coaching staff. Large, as we talked about, a great base runner. So is Killaway, but he's pitching his heart out on the mound in the 6th inning. Don't want to tire him unnecessarily. A good piece of hitting. Of course, his father, the ex-basketball coach of Seminole. His Uncle Tommy working at our favorite restaurant, Capona's Dugout. Been there for years.
Which a lot of these guys may head to if they win. If they win. Stillwell at the plate. He missed some playing time. He was a starter as a junior when Brian Bass, an All-American, came over to play. He lost his starting job. Nonetheless, they stayed friends. He got it back after the ruling, and here he is, game time situation. It seems, Brian, that he faces these situations during the playoffs, and he's come through. Now, he had to pop up on the sacrifice attempt, a chance to redeem himself. 5 RBIs in the last 2 games, hitting from the number 7 or 8 spot.
Took the ball high, swings through an off-speed pitch, and the count evens at 1-1 to Phil Stillwell. He grounded in the fielder's choice in the 2nd, and as Eric said, tried to bunt his way on back in the 5th and got it up in the air and turned it into a double play. A clutch hitch yesterday against Gonzalez Tate. The 1-1 swings through the low fastball, and he falls behind at 1-2.
He's getting his money's worth up there, knows that he has the green light, no place to be put on the bases.
Just be a little more selective, and now he's just got to fight off everything behind at 1-2.
Dixon waits on deck.
Breaking ball, slammed foul down the left field side. Got a little late on it, hung in there, hit it hard, but it was foul.
Stillwell shaking his head at the plate like, whew, just got a piece of that one. Got to stay alive. Chance for game-winning RBI right here. Possibly, if Seminole can forge ahead with a base hit.
Top half of the 6th. Aquinas holding on to the 4-3 lead. Bases loaded and 1 out. Fastball high for ball 2. It's 2-2 to Phil Stillwell.
That pitch almost got away from Gulla as it went upstairs real quick.
Palmisano, tall for a catcher. He's got to be at least 6'2", and he's got up there and did a nice job. Fly ball, right field. It's going to be deep enough to score the run. Robert Rivera makes the catch. The runners are tagging. In score easily is Bobby Wilson. We are tied at 4, and on the fly ball, Earl Blummer ends up at 2nd, 3rd base. It's tied at 4. Sacrifice fly for Phil Stillwell, and the runners now at 1st and 3rd with 2 down for Ryan Dixon.
There is no way that the right fielder, Robert Rivera, is going to throw out Wilson. The ball's hit too deep in this park. Wilson with the slide. As I said earlier, just to get dirty. Knows that they've tied the ball game up. Now 1st and 3rd. Wheels on at first base with a tie ball game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Stillwell moving in this situation, but you don't want to take the bat out of the hands of Dixon, who is so due for a hit.
5:21 before he was injured, as Eric talked about, middle of the season. Came back the other day and was 0 for 3, but had some good swings, and he fouls that one into the stands. And you've been off for a while, Eric, as you know, you play a lot of baseball. Sometimes you're just a little anxious, your timing's off. You get up there and you want to make a big play, get a good piece of the ball and put it in play, and not as selective. And to see if Dixon now can have a good at bat as he falls behind 0-1.
Possibly take a few pitches because Stillwell not on at first. TJ Large still at first base.
TJ Large.
See if the pitcher forgets about him over there and see if he can take off.
Chopper back through the middle. Easy play to retire to the side. Tyler Green to Colorado, but 4 runs in for the Warhawks. On 3 hits, they leave 2 men on. We move to the bottom of the 6th, and we are tied at 4 in the 5A state championship. Don't go away. This should be a great finish.
3.9 financing can save over $3,300 on Dodge Ram.
Casey Kochman with the big 2-run double to get Seminole on the scoreboard in the top of the 6th. They played 2 more to tie it at 4, move to the bottom of the 6th, and Jimmy Bacon leads off by taking a breaking ball for a called strike. He had a double and scored a run in the 3rd, and he struck out looking back in the 4th. Another breaking ball, this one low. Count evens at 1-1 to Jimmy Bacon, the 3rd baseman.
It was a long inning for Kilauea. Of course, he had that long at bat, and after he was pinch run for, he went down to the bullpen and got some work in just to stay loose.
That pitch is low. It's now 2-1 to Bacon. I'm sure Coach Miller is going to keep an eye on Kilauea. He's throwing a lot of pitches, as you mentioned, Eric. Struck out 9, run some deep counts. Pfister on the left side. It's going to be a tough play. Stillwell cannot make it. And Bacon will be a leadoff base runner here in the 6th inning for Aquinas.
That ball off the end of the bat should be a base hit. That's a tough play for Stillwell to make. Come running in and almost might have been able to barehand it. And Bacon left-handed out of that box very quickly.
We'll call it a base hit until we hear otherwise. That's a tough play for any level of the fielder. Robert Rivera around the bunt. Did he give offer? Yes, he did, says Mark House, the home plate umpire. He falls behind it, though, 0-1.
Bacon has to be careful down on first base not to get too big of a jump out there, because we saw the line drive, and also Wilson can gun him out.
Well, twice we've seen the bunt backfire on Seminole in the sacrifice. That pickoff play, and Bobby Wilson's going to have him dead to rights. The base runner getting too far off and running him down and putting him away is going to be John Riggleman. That was Bobby Wilson, came up firing as Bacon got too far off the bag on the attempted sacrifice, and a great play by Wilson to get it down to Kochman and finally run down by Riggleman for the 1st out.
Just a gun. Cooks Bacon, pun intended, down at first base. I thought he got too far off on the last pitch. And he was just dead to right here. And Kochman running him back. And a strikeout victim here.
Strikeout for Rivera. So what looked like a good start for Aquinas quickly deteriorating here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As Rivera strikes out for the 2nd out, we're back to the top of the order, and Tyler Green.
Quick work here for John Kilauea here in the bottom of the 6th, and Green, as you mentioned, I stated that he was due. He has a couple of hits here in the contest.
He grounded out, he singled and drove in a run in the 3rd, and he singled, drove in a run, and scored a run in the 5th. So he's been the catalyst that we thought he would be. Robert Lawson really was kind of non-committal before the game. I think he was afraid to tell us too much, Eric, like we're going to run over and tell somebody, but you know, we figured.
Well, you were wearing that T-shirt that said "I love the Hawks," so you know I told you to take it off.
Time Warner shirt on, 1-1, and that pitch is, I guess, that's been a strike in this contest. 2-1 now to Tyler Green.
Well, a situation in the stands, and this is a rule in high school baseball or any sport. They try to keep fans on one side of the field and the fans on the other side of the field. Some Seminole fans went over behind the St. Thomas Aquinas fans, and the Legends Field security here quickly to recognize it and did a nice job of asking them politely, please go over and sit on your side of the field. You can celebrate or grab the tissue paper if you lose at the end of the game, but right now, hey, sport to 2, be good sports.
The 3-1 fastball catching the outside corner, and the count runs full to Tyler Green.
Green here trying to get the 2-out rally. The top of the order has done a nice job picking up the majority of the hits.
Just fighting it off at the last minute on the breaking ball. Kilauea has already registered 10 strikeouts through 5 2/3 innings. Trying to pick up number 11 right here. Tyler Green's been a tough out, however, as we mentioned, 2 for 3. A couple of RBIs and a run scored in this one.
Quality pitcher, witnessed a no-hitter that he threw in 5 innings in a 10-run Mercy Rule game. Will not get a strike here.
Missing wide, and he loses Green. Good at that for Green as he draws the walk. It'll be a 2-out base runner at first for Mike Pellerito. It was a 1 for 3 with an RBI.
He's had a couple of quality at-bats, Pellerito. Remember, he had the questionable hit in the right field, and we thought maybe it could have, depending on who your scorer is, that could have been a hit. He could easily be 2 for 3. He had the pop-up when he was asked to sacrifice his last time up.
Breaking ball for a called strike. Killalea not afraid to throw the change or the breaking ball at any part of the count. Lead a hitter off with it, throw it if he's behind 2-0. Throw it on a full count. There's a breaking ball. It's wide, and the count is even at 1-1 to Mike Pellerito.
Has that high leg kick where an experienced base runner, if you've seen Killalea or any left-hander for a number of times, you might be able to take off and know when you can steal a base. But with Tyler Green not seeing John Killalea that much and in a tie ball game, best to stay put and let Pellerito do his job at the plate.
And we've seen Bobby Wilson. He's got a great arm. Now, I don't know, looks like the umpire was jawing a little bit with the catcher, Bobby Wilson, and now comes Coach Scott Miller to say to Mark Howells, what's going on here?
Looks like player. Your place or mine after the game, you know, have the post-game party, but usually that's not the words that umpires and coaches exchange with each other.
I'm sure Bobby Wilson's telling Mark Howells that, hey, come on now, be consistent back here. Howells is telling him, hey, you catch the game, I'll call it.
When I was at the plate, I would always just say, look, I'm talking to myself. Don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking to myself.
The 1-1 on the way. Change up, nice play on a tough one-hopper to Bloomer over to Kochman to retire to the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on base. We move to the top of the 7th. This one's tied at 4. Don't go away. The 5A state championship could be decided in this inning.
It's a new, easy-to-use picture-in-picture on-screen guide, crystal clear reception on over 200 channels, and high-speed internet access with Roadrunner. CD-quality sound so vibrant, you'll swear you're really there. And there's no expensive equipment to buy, all from the leader in home entertainment. When you want the best picture and sound available, it can only be called one thing.
Digital.
Time Warner Digital Multimedia. Welcome to what's next.
When it's a matter of life or death, they call on us, the Air Force Reserve Pararescue Team. Our mission is search and rescue, as far and as long as it takes. We get to those in danger, and we get them out. The Air Force Reserve may be a part-time job, but it's a full-time experience. Air Force Reserve, above and beyond.
Top half of the 7th inning. It's all tied at 4. The #1 team in the nation, the Seminole Warhawks. The #8 team in the nation, the St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. Man up in the bullpen, staying loose is Adam Espinola. He's now on the mound. My mistake, Adam Espinola is now in the game. No, he's not. This is still Goa. Okay, we are
Seminole relief pitcher Phil Stillwell.
Phil Stillwell. Okay, the uniforms now are full in the air.
As the sun begins to set, pulled that shadow up and you have to look twice down there in the bullpen.
Riggleman, Stillwell, the shortstop, is loosening up in the bullpen, so we get it squared away.
He will be the relief pitcher if needed. Not yet known whether he will start the bottom of the 7th. I guess it depends on the top of the 7th here with Riggleman starting it off. Hey, I believe that's the first time he swung the bat. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look since he has walked a couple of times.
He's walked twice. Just a recognized name, Eric. His father, a famous baseball name, John Riggleman. His father used to manage the Cubs, Jim Riggleman.
I've seen him out at the Seminole at Brinker Field on a couple of occasions. Also along with Tom Kochman, who is a minor league manager and scout for the Angels organization, the father of Casey. I tell you, this team in Seminole just been around baseball their whole lives.
1-2, high and wide. Riggleman evens the count at 2-2. Got a couple of good at-bats where he's walked. See if he can work a walk or get his way on here to start the 7th inning. Get back to the top of the order after this, and Danielle Williams.
2-strike hitter.
Breaking ball, slow roller up the middle, can't get it. The second baseman, Pellerito, he's been perfect, but that was a tough short hop. Back towards the middle, and that'll be a leadoff single for John Riggleman.
You know, Riggleman out a good portion of the year with an injury as well. A lot of people looked at his numbers, said, geez, this guy's only hitting 240 and 5 RBI. Could he be the weak link? No, he's not the weak link. Outstanding second baseman. Will get some looks in the deeper rounds of the Major League Baseball draft. I'm sure that he's more of a college-type player right now. Will sign on with the college.
Danielle Williams. Look for him to bunt here. He squares around. The breaking ball is called strike. Williams scored back in the 6th inning after hitting into a fielder's choice. He had a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd, and he popped up bunting back in the 1st. Popped up swinging actually back in the 1st to the pitcher. Chased the runner back, Riggleman. Leadoff runner here in the top of the 7th inning. Score tied at 4 in the 5A state championship game. Williams takes it wide, and the count evens it 1-1.
Williams definitely showing sacrifice bunt the whole way, not trying to get on, just trying to move the runner over. Has the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th hitters coming up behind him. Plenty of hitters.
The 1-1 to Williams, going to swing away, takes a strike on the outside corner. Painting the black out there on 2 of the pitches is Mike Gullah. Now Williams is going to probably be forced to swing away here. In the hole at 1-2.
Williams now with 2 strikes, as you mentioned, having to do like Riggleman here. Now he's showing bunt with 2 strikes.
And he strikes out, popping it foul. So taking the bunt off, and he. The scoreboard said 1-2.
Well, he's out. Umpire's not too.
Didn't realize it, I guess, or was maybe faking that he won't stand in here. Maybe I'll fool him, but he's out. That's a strikeout. And he took a couple of strikes when he was. One when he was swinging, one when he was bunting, and then he couldn't bunt the 3rd one. And he's out of there.
Gullah did a nice job of throwing pitches on the corner, working the corners. Had Williams guessing. Williams not a very good curveball, breaking pitch hitter.
Skorupski 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Breaking ball wide for ball 1. Skorupski's double hit the chalk on the right field line, setting the table for Casey Kochman, who will follow him here in this inning to drive in the first 2 runs with a smoked double down the right field line.
Well, those were definitely 2 opposite hits. The pool cue by Skorupski.
Called strike.
Kochman on deck with the shot down the right field line, but the tie ball game, being the visitors here, Seminole, they had the quality pitching until they stayed in the ball game. Stillwell only 8 innings pitched all season.
That one wide. It's now 2-1 to John Skorupski. I can't say enough about these catchers defensively. That could have gotten away, but Palmisano made it look easy for a high school catcher.
We haven't seen a pitch to the backstop this contest, whether it be pass ball or wild pitch. Palmisano staying fresh, as you mentioned earlier. Gets a pinch runner, gets that gear on, stays loose and limber.
The 2-1. Skied in the shallow left center field. Over comes the center fielder Chris Munn, fighting the sun, and puts it away for the second out here in the top of the 7th inning. So it'll be up to Casey Kochman. A line drive double. Drove in 2 runs and scored a run back in the 6th when Seminole tied it up, scored all their runs in the 6th. They overcome a 4-run deficit. They remain tied here, top of the 7th at 4.
And again, with Wilson on deck, Gullah can't afford to pitch around Kochman.
Not at all, because you don't want to put that winning run, potential winning run out at second base. By walking him, of course.
Lawrence threw him a breaking pitch that was lined down the right field line.
Another breaking ball. Takes it for a called strike 1. So his numbers coming into the final 4.
And he didn't play last year due to an injury. Missed the entire 2000 season.
He's just tuned in. He could be the first baseman, or maybe the only. Well, the first baseman and the first high school, of course, first baseman taken in the Major League draft. Scouts have said he's a Major League fielder now, and he's got a AAA type swing, AAA hitter right now. We saw a AAA double in the last at bat down that first base line. Fights that one off down the left field line. This could be extra bases the other way for Casey Kochman. Coming around second base is your runner, Riggleman. Riggleman will be held at third. Kochman pulls into second with a stand-up double. Runners now at second and third with 2 down for Bobby Wilson. Second consecutive double off the bat of Casey Kochman.
Well, a lot of people would think that you get a high school prospect that's really up and going to be recruited high in the draft. You would think, well, maybe he's a home run hitter. Kochman is a baseball player. He is just a straight hitter. He goes with the pitch. He gets hits the other way. And Wilson, they're going to give him the intentional walk. And you could see this coming.
Well, and that was a nice play by Jared Labasco out there in left field. There, he was a late substitution with 2 outs in the first inning after Giannotti got hurt, and he took a good angle on that ball, kept it from getting by him or bobbling it, and really kept Riggleman from scoring. Watch this. This is a good play here. Watch this.
Knows that Riggleman's running with the hit because there's 2 outs. And I talked to Coach Lawson the other day, and he was going to start at that time at the end of the first game. He told me he was going to start Labasco in left field. Had to go with Rivera, but then due to the injury to Giannotti during the top half of the first inning, had to go with Labasco, and he's done a nice job out there, especially with as we go on throughout the contest now, 2 hours and 15 minutes old.
Bases loaded. Errol Bloomer, 1 for 3 with a single and an RBI, steps to the plate with 2 down in a tie game. Top half. Buck is called, and the go-ahead run is going to score. The first base umpire, K.D. Wright, called it. Mike Gullah bucks. The runners will move up to second and third. Seminole has taken a 5-4 lead. And that is a tough way to take a lead if you're Aquinas, or to lose the lead on a buck with 2 outs. Let's see what happens. He starts and he started, no doubt about it. He started rocking back. That you have to call that. That's not a call you can let go. That is definitely a balk.
This brings back memories of last year's 5A championship game. Merritt Island trailing to Sarasota, and then Sarasota had the 4-run lead, and the wheels just fell off for the Sailors. It looked like they were going to cruise on to a victory, and Merritt Island, one of the top-ranked teams then in the state of Florida, came back to win it in the bottom half of the 7th with walks, with hits batsmen. And a balk like this cost St. Thomas Aquinas a run.
This is a key at bat now for Errol Bloomer with a base open, 2 down, runners at second and third. A single here gives them a 3-run cushion. The 0-1 to Bloomer. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Nice off-speed pitch from Gullah, and he falls behind. Does Bloomer at 0-2.
Bloomer way out in front of that pitch, and he knows it. And already ready to fire is Gullah, getting back on that hill very quickly, possibly locking himself up as he waits for the hitter. If he swung through it the first time, he got to throw it again. Hits him outside.
In the dirt, blowing away. Nice block again from Palmisano to keep that run third from scoring.
Trying to make him chase one. These Seminole hitters very disciplined. The only registered strikeout I have in the book was Williams trying to bunt with 2 strikes.
A 1-2. Breaking ball swings
There's
through
the
it,
first one.
strikes out. Big strikeout from Gullah, but the Warhawks score the go-ahead run. They do it on one hit. 2 hits make that. Leave 2 men on. We move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the Seminole Warhawks, with their first lead of the contest, lead it 5-4.
Seems every day someone promises you a faster way to the internet. But when it comes to delivering serious speed, no one can touch Roadrunner High Speed Online from Time Warner Communications instead of High Speed Hype. Get Roadrunner for a high-speed service that's easy to get, easy to use, and actually delivers high speed.
Call 888-547-6602 now and get the first month of Roadrunner free.
Roadrunner High Speed Online. Let's go.
Back at Legends Field for the bottom half of the 7th inning. High school baseball, of course, is only 7 innings. Seminole Warhawks take the lead in the top of the inning. They lead it 5-4. 5 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors. For the Warhawks, 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. For the Raiders will have the meat of their order. Lou Palmisano, the 3-hitter. Joe Zanerko, the number 4-hitter. And Jared Labasco scheduled to hit, but it looks like Nick Palmisano is the second man out there in the on-deck circle with a helmet on and a bat in his hand, who's going to pinch hit probably for Labasco, who was a 2-out in the first inning replacement for the starting center fielder who went down, and that was Giannotti. Unfortunately, he came up with a leg injury when he collided. Richard Giannotti did with the left fielder. Lou Palmisano, 2 for 3, 2 for 2 actually. Sacrifice bunt, a couple of singles, and he's driven in a run. He falls behind at 0-1.
Chase that pitch upstairs. Kilrea and Stillwell gave each other high five. Stillwell probably saying, hey, you finish it. Don't look to me to come in at shortstop and close this thing out for you.
Palmisano there dancing out of the way. Should have just stood in there and taken that one. It would have hit him in the leg.
And that's what St. Thomas need. A runner on base.
It's 1-1 now to Lou Palmisano. Tremendous behind the plate. He's done a great job when he's been at bat. The breaking ball is wide. It's now 2-1 to Lou Palmisano.
It looked like he was falling off the mound on that pitch. He knew it was nowhere close to the strike zone as soon as he released it.
I'd like to finish this one out, but Scott Miller, of course, will keep an eye on him. We saw Stillwell warming up between innings in the bullpen, and that one in the dirt. It's now 3-1 to Palmisano, and you have to think here, trailing by 1 in the bottom of the 7th, he's going to be taking this one all the way.
Force him to throw you a strike, and only if it's in your wheelhouse do you cut loose on it.
They need a base runner.
Asking Palmisano to be very selective.
The 3-1 swings, line drive through Stillwell. Couldn't get it. Got there, but it went right by his glove. Tough play, but it'll be a single for Palmisano. Thought he might be able to snare that one, Eric, but it went right by him. Couldn't quite get it.
And now the pinch runner, Swaisland, will step in. But another hit for Palmisano. He's had quite the day at the plate. And I mentioned 3-1, unless it's in your wheelhouse. That one in your wheelhouse, but Palmisano not able to turn on it, and he collects another hit. The key hit to lead off here in the bottom of the 7th.
Daniel Williams did a good job of getting over to cut that one off. Zanerko at the plate. Takes a called strike. 0-1 to Joe Zanerko. Rounded into a double play to end the first, struck out, looking back in the 3rd, and he doubled and drove in a run in the 5th. Swaisland, your courtesy runner at first, nobody out, around the bunt, he takes it for a called strike. Delayed call by Mark Howells. I was going to say that's been a strike, and it was there, so he falls behind at 0-2. See what Robert Lawson does here. He's going to have, I'm sure, have him swinging away down by 1. Nobody out and the runner on first. Breaking ball, swings through it, fights it off actually at the last minute. Thought he missed it, but he did fight it off at the plate. Wilson hobbling a little bit, may have taken that one off the foot.
crunch time now for Zanurko, and Wilson goes back to get in position. You know, him and the home plate umpire, they've become very good friends here the past couple innings. They spent a lot of time together throughout the contest, but they spend just as much time away from the plate talking.
The 0-2, straight change, popped up on the right side, coming hard. The right fielder makes the grab. Damon Lister calls off John Riggleman, makes a nice play. That would have been a tough play for Riggleman, looking over his shoulder into the sun. Lister, looking into the sun, makes the grab.
And look at that divot that his cleat caught. The spikes, right?
Something after you play golf, Eric.
Yeah, the Yankees are going to say, we're going to have that paid for by the time this tournament is over. But an excellent job. Didn't even use the shades. He has them up on top of the hat.
Well, he's not hitting, and he's the guy they're designated hitting for, but you see why he's out there, because he's a fine fielder. And he just made a big play right there. Got a good jump, fought through the sun. We're going to have a pinch hitter. This will be number 30, Nick Palmisano. He's a junior. Left-handed hitter, hitting .316 coming in. He scored 11 runs, has a couple of homers, and 14 RBIs.
Did play in yesterday's game, was 1 for 2 against Lakeland. St. Thomas Aquinas faced a pitcher yesterday, a right-hander, that just had an unorthodox style with his pitching motion. And they had all types of problems, only picked up a couple runs, but good enough for the victory. And here, a more conventional left-hander. But now down to their final 2 at-bats.
Well, Kilauea is going to try to roll a ground ball here, obviously. He's got a great shortstop, second base combination, and Stillwell and Riggleman. Palmisano is going to try to put something in play and put the pressure on the defense. Move that tying run around. 1 down, bottom of the 7th. Runner on first is the courtesy runner, Evan Swaisland. Seminole holding on to the 5-4 lead. Kilauea chases him back with that good move.
He's just trying to keep him honest, unless he really has him picked off, or will he fire one over there, because he can't afford to fire one over there and have it get by and put that runner in scoring position.
Breaking ball, catching the outside corner for strike 1. The 0-1, another breaking ball, identical spot. He quickly jumps in front of the pinch hitter Palmisano with 0-2.
More pinch hitting so hard coming off the bench and asked to get up there and get a big hit. You can see him from the bench, but it's different once you step up there.
Swing and a miss. He fouled it off, I guess. He said he hit the ground and fouled it off. Did your umpire, Mark House. So staying alive, just fighting it off. That was Nick Palmisano. Wilson tried to get the call, but Mark House right there making it. Take a look at it. And I don't think he touched it. But the 0-2 breaking ball puts it in play on the right side. Casey Kochman going to tag the runner. Did he get him? Now they're going to say he didn't. Casey thought he had his legs. I guess nobody was covering out at second, because he could have come up and thrown, but didn't do it.
We'll take another look from our high first base camera.
Could be a big play in this contest.
Stillwell is there. Just throw it and get the hit. He's trying to make a play, Brian. He's trying to get a tag and then trying to get the first. Nobody's on first, so you've got to throw.
You couldn't see that, Eric. You're right. He had his back to him, but
you've got to go ahead and send that ball down to first base.
And you have to take an out in that situation.
Yes.
You have to just get an out. Now it's first and second.
Winning run on first base, tying run
1 down
is on second. And here's the game-winning hit hero from yesterday's game.
Steven Encinosa steps to the plate.
And a pinch runner.
Another runner coming in. Kyle Kirchheiner will be the runner, the pinch runner for the pinch hitter. Encinosa has struck out. He grounded the second, and he walked in the 5th. Seminole's defense today has been good at times, but they have had 3 plays where they've had outs on sacrifices that they didn't record. Let's hope for them it doesn't hurt them here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. There's a breaking ball that is wide for ball 1 to Encinosa. Palmisano, the pinch hitter. Wilson thought he had him struck out, and so did Killaway, but they said he fouled off that 0-2 pitch before putting that one in play. Pickoff move, nobody there to cover. Killaway did not throw the ball, of course. The 1-0 on its way. Fastball is in there to even the count at 1-1.
Nice location of the pitch at the knees. Against the left-hander was all breaking pitches, but here he's firing the fastball in.
Foul off on the right side, and in the hole at 1-2 is Steven Encinosa.
Encinosa was way late on that pitch. In fact, yesterday his hit went to second base. He was late on that one as well, as the infield was drawn in, and he hit a high chopper to get that run home.
Fastball, first base just foul by a foot or two. That could have been all kinds of problems, or caused all kinds of problems for the Seminole Warhawks. Encinosa fights it off and sends it sharply foul on the right side. Count remains 1-2, 1 down. Runners on first and second. At second is Evan Swayzlin, the courtesy runner. Kyle Kirchner on first, the pinch runner. Breaking ball, bounded foul on the third base side.
And that's what you want if you're Errol Bloomer. Get that high chopper where he can just grab it, step on third, and fire on to first, and game over. But these Aquinas Raiders staying disciplined at the plate, keeping the bat on the ball with 2 strikes.
The 1-2 on the way. Fastball is low, and the count evens at 2-2 to Encinosa. Encinosa, the designated hitter today. Clearly battling. Got to be tired. He's thrown a ton of pitches. Recorded 10 strikeouts. Back through the middle. Could this be 2? There's 1 over to first. Double play, and that's the ball game. The Seminole Warhawks come from behind with 5 unanswered runs to win the 5A state championship, and Eric all but wrap up the mythical national championship in high school baseball. What a comeback for the Warhawks, and they did it at the end with great defense. After their defense at times this game had let them down a little bit.
And they're going to win it by claiming a balked-in run. And you know, a lot of people, and I don't mean any pun by this, but with those 10 defeats on their record, a lot of the fans, a lot of the parents, the coaches, the players would say that the FHSAA balked on that call, and a balked run brings it home.
Here's the replay. Looked like Kochman maybe left a little bit too soon at first, but that's in the area play, and we saw that at second base earlier for Aquinas, and they're still well turning it nicely from the feet from Riggleman. And Kochman gets his foot out of there in a hurry, but that's definitely a double play.
It's time to celebrate.
Time to celebrate. The Seminole Warhawks with the national championship, the state championship in 5A, and the Cinderella season.
Well, let me tell you,
continues here for the Warhawks.
The last team officially to be unbeaten would be Avon Park back in the 60s, but Sarasota, the 1994 team, was 33-4, and they had back-to-back 5A state titles. They were ranked #1 nationally, and they had a lot of first-round draft picks, 3, and this Seminole team could rival them here in the next couple weeks, and they definitely deserve the "We Are the Champions." They went through a lot of pressure, Brian, for this team throughout the season. You know, they've been together so long, they just fended it off and went out and played and proved it, and down 4-0, and came back and won this game.
Yes, they did. Killaway with a gutsy 7-inning performance. We'll take a quick timeout and be back to wrap it up. The Warhawks win the 5A state championship 5-4 over the Raiders from St. Thomas Aquinas.